When you're cleaning your Pokemon boxes, do you ever stop and admire the shiny Pokemon you've acquired over the years? Whether it be your first shiny Pokemon or your most recent shiny that you've caught, at some point in a shiny hunter's career, one should pause and reflect back on the shinies they've caught along their journey. Since making Pokemon shiny hunting videos at the tail end of 2023, I've caught a few shinies here and there. I've documented a lot of my shiny hunts. However, I know a lot of new subscribers here haven't seen them. So I figured, why not create a supercut of a year's worth of shiny hunts and put them into one video to enjoy. That way new folks can check out all of the videos without clicking away. Also, you can leave the video up while you're doing your homework, doing your own shiny hunts, or to fall asleep to. I want to point out that I'm not in my typical office and I don't have my usual setup. I'm house sitting for some family right now, so don't get used to the background. This is only temporary for this video. With that being said, leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and leave a comment in the comment section below on what was your favorite video from this supercut. Enjoy the rest of the video. Have you ever found yourself taking comfort in playing older games compared to new releases? Do you find yourself lamenting modern gaming? Perhaps you just stare at your Steam library for longer than you'd like to admit. With the first DLCs for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet leaving much to be desired, did you go back and play the earlier Pokemon games? If so, you're not alone. In the modern age, we tend to take for granted the longevity of video games. Most gamers are familiar with the recent shutdowns of online gaming storefronts, with the 3DS, Wii U, and Xbox 360 next on the chopping block. 87% of games released before 2021 can no longer be reasonably and legally acquired by the average person. It's hard to imagine that any modern game could suddenly disappear, right? With some games being digital only, having no physical copies, they very well could. A small community that I'm a part of recently experienced this reality firsthand. In August of 2021, Video Horror Society, aka VHS, was announced. It was a free-to-play 4v1 asymmetric action tribute to 80s monster movies, developed by Hellbent Games. The trailer took a lot of people by surprise, myself included. For the uninitiated, the asim horror genre has been dominated by Dead by Daylight for many years. Other studios have tried their hand at the genre and ultimately failed. If DVD was Goliath, VHS was yet another David. But over 300,000 people signed up for the closed beta, hoping to score their own key to the beyond. But this video isn't really about VHS. This last summer, in June of 2023, Hellbent Games announced that they were sunsetting VHS and removing it from the stores in the following months. It had been publicly playable for just under a year. As a partnered content creator with the game, it was disheartening news. The community was devastated, and many of us wanted to find a way to preserve the game. Despite everything, I really hoped the game could have found its audience. Hell, I got one of my favorite shinies while playing VHS. A shiny Rayquaza. This game that I loved and enjoyed now had an expiration date, and the clock was ticking. I had this familiar ringing in my ears, along with the sound of doors opening and closing. My stomach knotted, and a fleeting feeling of anxiety and uncertainty began to form. It was now the weekend after the announcement, and that familiar ringing and sense of anxiety persisted. Summer was off to a rainy start here in the Pacific Northwest, and I was playing Pokemon Shield, shiny hunting Dynamax adventures. I was trying to get a legendary mascot from Gen 3, Groudon. Gen 3 is my favorite generation of Pokemon games, and I clocked in at 43 resets when I caught a shiny Combustion, another Gen 3 Pokemon. The coincidence motivated me to find and play my old Pokemon Ruby pack. I started looking through my room and ended up finding my old GBA SP and my case. I didn't find my Ruby pack or my twin brothers, but the used market is a hell of a place to find Pokemon games, my lord. I found a good deal on a Ruby cartridge, and I wasted no time booting it up. It still had a save file on it, and the original trainer's name was Adam. He had all 8 badges, all 3 Reggies, and he cleared the Elite 4. He didn't have a Groudon, unfortunately. I was going to reset his game, but I felt like I couldn't erase the save with everything he's gone through with his Pokemon. With the end of VHS still fresh in my mind, I decided that I would do whatever it takes to preserve Adam's Pokemon. In case you're unfamiliar, the Pokemon games have a feature to move your Pokemon up from one game to the next, with a few caveats and restrictions. It requires you to have certain games, hardware, and software, including Pokemon Transporter and Pokemon Bank on the 3DS, which is no longer accessible to download since the 3DS eShop shut down in March of 2023. Thankfully, I had already had them downloaded, but holy moly, the prices of these physical copies. I spent this summer collecting many of the Pokemon games. Besides Pokemon Ruby in June, I got 2 copies of Emerald, one clean and the other with a beat up label, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Sapphire, and Pokemon Black 2. In order to transfer from Gen 3 to Gen 4, you need to have a Gen 4 save that's completed, which means beating the game and acquiring the National Pokédex. I opted to do this on my Heart Gold because Heart Gold and Soul Silver doesn't have a cap on how many Pokemon you can transfer per day. You then need to visit Fuchsia City. This will grant you the migrate option on your menu screen whenever there's a GBA game in the Nintendo DS GBA slot. Now, you transfer your Pokemon from Gen 3 to Gen 4. Transferring to Gen 5 requires access to the Poke Transfer Lab, located on Route 15. Like Gen 4, you must acquire the National Dex first. You'll also need a separate DS or 3DS system for each cartridge. You put only the Pokemon you want to transfer in Box 1 on your trainer's in-game PC. Talk to the guy in the Transfer Lab, then connect through Download Play. Select the Pokemon you want to transfer and play that very annoying mini game. Okay, we are almost done. From here, you'll need your 3DS with the Gen 5 cartridge inserted. Open Poke Transporter and transfer your box of Pokemon. Next, swap to the Gen 6 or Gen 7 game, boot up Pokemon Bank, select your game, and move your Pokemon from the transfer box to Bank 1. Now all you have to do is transfer from Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home. First things first though, I have to beat Heart Gold. On the 1st of July, my brother and I were going to meet his friends for some dim sum and watch the Mariners play. I brought my DS and was soft resetting Black 2 for a shiny starter. I still needed a Gen 5 game to be cleared in the post game. It was a blast. Having fun with some good old baseball and Pokemon, and the win was the cherry on top. When I got back home, I found out that
I had Sapphire. I had Ruby. You had the blue one, I had the red one. Damn, that's crazy, dude.
Whoops, turns out that I was team Blue Cart.
It was all a lie, man. I really thought I had Ruby.
Thankfully, I found my older sister's stash of old Pokemon games in my Sapphire pack, though it was saved over with the trainer named Ash. I was just glad to have physical media. Plus, these secondhand Pokemon prices, geez Louise. It was getting towards the end of summer and I wasn't making too much progress on Heart Gold due to my full-time job. So being quirky, I decided to test my luck on some used cards for 100% completion for Gen 5, and I got super lucky. Like super lucky. Late summer is always a hectic season for my job, and I was getting swamped. Plus, I was planning for my October fundraiser for National Breast Cancer Foundation. It's my 3rd consecutive year. I was on track to get the capture footage done for the Pokemon transfer. I got the rest of the carts and tech, and shout out to Owl's Music and Games. They have a specialist there that not only repairs old consoles, they even add mods. I got my 3DS modded to capture the footage. While working through Heart Gold and playing Gen 3, I got a ping on Discord. National Breast Cancer Foundation reached out to me back in May to do a collab with Razer to make a video about my mom's story regarding how breast cancer affected my family. With my full-time job and streaming, it didn't hit me how all of this was connected. Cancer is more than just a diagnosis. It's fraught with hardship, trauma, uncertainty, healing, and progress. Not just for those diagnosed, but for the family as well. Being in that situation where you have no real impact on the outcome often leads to feeling helpless. The memories came flooding back when I was 7 years old and I didn't really know what was happening. At that time, we were in the middle of a big move and we were in a hotel waiting for it to be finished, and my mom was going through her chemotherapy treatment. At that time, I couldn't make sense of it all. The only thing I could wrap my head around was Pokemon. It was simple. Collect them all, beat the gyms, and win. It was one thing within my control and helped me and my siblings get through that time of our lives. While a shutdown of a video game isn't the same shared experience as witnessing a loved one go through breast cancer treatment, the feelings came crawling back. With the shutdown of VHS, I was once again bearing witness to outside forces changing something in my life that brings me joy. That personal feeling of stomach knotting, anxiety, and uncertainty, the sound of opening and closing doors in my head began to manifest. The multiple heavy hotel doors opening and closing came from my dad taking my mom to her treatment, along with other guests roaming the hotel At that moment, I could understand why I took refuge in Sapphire again. After taking a moment to myself, I responded to Kat and contacted my editor to get recording on that side project. In August of 2003, my mom took a mammogram and it detected a cancer in early stage, the size of a pea on the right side. Around the time of this diagnosis, we were in the middle of a big move. We were staying in a hotel for about the duration of my mom's treatment while they were finishing our house. I was about 7 or 8 years old when this happened. I knew my mom was sick and I felt helpless. All I could do was be her son, carry groceries, and watch over my little sister. I just vividly remember spending that summer on my Game Boy Advance SP, playing Pokemon Sapphire, thinking if I can be a Pokemon champion and beat this game, my mom can beat her breast cancer. After 4 rounds of chemotherapy and 6 weeks of radiation, my mom was cancer-free and we had a new house to celebrate in. It's going to be about 20 years since my mom's survivorship beating breast cancer. This is why I do what I do now. The end of summer in my book kicks off with PAX West. Still working through Heart Gold, I brought my Pokewalker to capture some Pokemon and Watts to help me with the remaining gym battles. I enjoyed checking out the booths for AAA, AA, and the indie games. This PAX was a little different. For the first time stateside, we had a Nintendo Live. You had to enter a raffle to get a ticket. When I got to the Nintendo Live section, oh my god, it was great, but that merch line was so horrendous. Regretfully, I left my Switch and my 3DS back at home, so I couldn't make any progress on my Heart Gold. The only progress I could make was on my Pokewalker, getting the steps in, playing the little mini games, and acquiring those Pokewatts. That was my only escape out of the Nintendo Live merch line. In my opinion though, it was well worth it though. My mom was out of town during Labor Day when she contracted COVID. Did I mention I really hate summer? After diligently masking for 3 years, I contracted COVID and missed my sister's wedding back in the summer of 2022. Now, with this summer, my mom caught COVID. Plus, as someone who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, I despise the heat. The sun beating down all the time, and so many folks crowded everywhere. Besides, I prefer fall and winter. Misty rain, fog, pumpkin pie, holidays, and snowboarding. During that time of taking care of my mom, I was able to clear out the gym badges, beat the Elite Four, go through Kanto so I can clear the cart. September was finally coming to an end, and after weeks of isolation and care, my mom tested negative for COVID. Originally, I wanted this video out before VHS shut down earlier in September, but I just couldn't get the video out and a lot of personal stuff happened. This last summer really put into perspective the fragility of life, the importance for caring for family, and how trauma in our youth shape the way we cope as adults. At least 20 years from my mom's survivorship beating her breast cancer, I am no longer helpless. It was healing for my inner child to care for my mom while she was recovering from COVID. It made me appreciate the time I still have with my family. Also, after a summer of remembrance, introspection, care, and preservation, the project was complete. After finishing all the transfers, Adam's Pokemon were now in my Pokemon home, not forgotten on an old game cartridge. Alright, you are at the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. I'm recording this like a day or two before it releases. I'm not at my usual place because I am house sitting these little guys. It's Momo, Hallie. Mo, what? What, Mo? You look like the sticker Momo peeking. Look at her. We are soft resetting for a shiny starter in Pokemon Sapphire. We're at 295 resets. I had fun recording this video, and it was a summer project. It took a while to get this video recorded and edited because summer was really busy. I was focusing on getting things ready for the charity stream. So originally it was supposed to be done around the week of October 4th. That was the week that VHS was sunsetting, and I wanted to get this video out to kind of talk about VHS but also talk about what's upcoming and everything like that. It was really derailed, but that's life, right? You gotta roll with the punches and everything. We have 1 day or 2 left in the charity stream to fundraise for National Breast Cancer Foundation. Hopefully by the time this video is uploaded, we still have 1 or 2 more days left to fundraise for National Breast Cancer Foundation. I would love to go for more, and this is what this video is about too. If you have the means and you're able to, we'll have a link in the description below for you to donate to the charity fundraiser. And I'll leave the fundraiser up for like maybe a couple more days. And if you guys are still watching this video months, weeks after October, we'll just put a general donate button to National Breast Cancer Foundation. If we can get any last minute donations on there, I'd really appreciate it. We have a lot of cool incentives on there, and the channel focus moving forward, we will try to make it Pokemon content. We'll go with that because I mean, I don't know, most of the time I'm going to be streaming. I stream daily on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dayoshi. It's Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on the weekends, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It probably won't be Pokemon, maybe it will be Pokemon, but most of the time I am a PvP Scrub Lord. Still no shiny Torchic. We're at 305 right now. And yeah, we will see you all when we see you. Take care, everyone. Have you ever lost something and thought to yourself, how did I manage to lose that? I mean, do you remember where you put your keys in? Wallet, right? Most people don't think about when they put something important aside, it may be the last time they see it. For me, that was my DS Lite. Earlier in November, my older sister rented a dumpster to throw out old items throughout the house. This was the culmination of our summer spent cleaning and sorting through all our old stuff. My favorite part was me eating the bags out of the window into the bin down below. By the end of it, the dang thing was nearly full. I originally set up a bounty for $200 for my siblings to find my old DS Lite, and over the summer, I found my siblings' DS, but we didn't find mine. I was hoping my Pokemon Diamond or my brother's Pokemon Ruby cartridge was in it. The days went by and we searched room after room, but our luck on finding older consoles ran dry. We did, however, find some ancient game guides, a Ratchet and Clank guide with a disc in the manual and still inside, as well as one of my favorite games of all time, Super Mario Sunshine. Any 90s kids remember the Burger King Pokemon Gold cards? Oh yeah, we found those as well, along with some old Pokemon merch. Shout out to my parents for getting us all of this while growing up, and I'm happy to have found this all. Then we struck gold. We found it! Oh my god! After all was said and done, we cleaned a good portion of the house, and we found some childhood gems. It felt good to do all that work. With our reward soon after, Thanksgiving food was upon us. After inhaling all the delicious goodies, watching some sports ball and playing through Pokemon, I opened up my laptop to look at my channel. With the recent success of my first video and the new live streaming schedule for Pokemon, I poked around the comment section. In my last video, I talked about collecting my old games. I was honestly so shocked at the response. So many of you shared your amazing stories about your Pokemon adventures growing up, which were all so endearing. The memorials to friends and loved ones were also deeply touching. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. We did a giveaway to show my appreciation for getting it to 10k views, and I expect we'll do a lot more like this in the future. So stay tuned, subscribe, and make sure you turn on the notification bell. I'm so thankful for the recent success of this channel. It was great to read through the comments, reflect on the video, and declutter. Decluttering benefits your mental health by making you feel calmer, happier, and more in control. So if it's one thing I hope you take away from this video is to pause, take some time out of your day, and clean up your mental and physical space. Even if it's just emptying out your garbage can, small actions can build enough momentum to create big change, and I hope it helps with whatever you're working through. All that decluttering didn't stop there. Months ago, my mom planned a trip to Hawaii, where my family originally is from. She was planning to go through my grandma's storage. Back in 2017, my grandfather passed away from my mom's side of the family. So my mom flew out for the funeral service and helped clean out my grandmother's home that they were renting. My grandmother's life was all neatly packed in boxes and stored away. But with the increasing cost of storage, my mom decided it was time to go through and clean it out. 6 years later, it was time to declutter and unpack that part of my mom's life. In anticipation for my trip to Hawaii, I started playing Pokemon Ultra Sun on stream to get me in the mood. This generation was notorious for being long due to dialogue, cutscenes, and tutorials. I knew I wasn't going to finish this playthrough in time for the trip, but at least it was fun to go through. Going back to Hawaii to sort through my grandma's items wasn't the only thing on my to-do list. Many years ago, when the GBA SP was in its heyday, I found myself at a game store in Honolulu. I can't remember the name of the store, but I do remember looking through the GBA selection and finding a cool game called Advance Wars. Excited to play it, I jammed it into my GBA SP, looking to see what it was like. For the uninitiated, Advance Wars is a turn-based military sim game. If you have an objective, you need to capture the HQ of the opposing force, and you have to rout your enemy. Initially, I had a blast playing it when I was young, but I wasn't expecting it to be turn-based gameplay. The box cover seemed like you were going to be shooting baddies through a tank. So after a day or two, I convinced my dad to take me back to the shop and return the game. Years later in college, I bought a 2DS and a game called Fire Emblem Fates, and fell in love with the gameplay. I decided to look at the devs' past games and, well, there it was, Advance Wars. Fast forward to the present, back in Hawaii, on a mission to acquire a copy of Advance Wars, and I brought my analog pocket to test it out. Day 1 was raining, so my uncle called us and told us not to worry about coming in and starting the sorting process. So we spent the day getting some great island food. Best way to eat on a rainy day in Hawaii? Oxtail soup. After eating and some errands, we checked into our hotel and got our bio clocks in sync with the time zone. We ended the day with some K-barbecue and was planning for the next day. I ended my day playing Ultra Sun until I got tired and went to bed. Day 2, we woke up super early and I wanted to go to the local swap meet in my quest for Advance Wars. You might be asking yourself, Yoshi, why don't you just go to the local game stores to see if they have it? Well, the day before, I called stores around the island that collected games in search of a copy. None of them had it. In fact, there aren't a lot of options for retro games on the main island of Oahu. Yes, there's GameStops, but aside from a few bookstores that carry some older games, there aren't any options. The only options I found was Facebook Marketplace and the local swap meet, and the only AW listing on the marketplace was already sold, which leaves us with our final option, the swap meet, where Retro Max has a booth. Max is really the only retro game vendor on the island. It's very comparable versus Hawaii's population and that of the mainland. I was talking to Max and he was talking to me about game preservation here on the island. It's very hard to try and find items. Unfortunately, Max didn't have a copy of Advance Wars. I didn't want to leave empty-handed, so I picked up a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red, Xena Warrior Princess, and MCR Racing. After the swap meet and lunch, we drove over to my uncle's place to begin work sorting through my grandma's belongings. We were making good progress initially when I started going through some locked chests. Curious to see what was inside, my dad cracked open one of them, and in the first box we found some linen sheets, and underneath them we found my grandfather's typewriter. We also found some really cool coins that were very old. Afterwards, we tucked it in for the night, and me being exhausted, I was playing some Pokemon to end my night. I woke up early to find out that my DS ran dry. I didn't save my Ultra Sun playthrough. I basically lost 2 islands of progress, but there are more important things to focus on that day. After getting ready and throwing my DS on a charger, we got some breakfast and went to Uncle's place to finish sorting through my grandma's items. I found the last 2 days reflective for my family, specifically for my mom. Since my grandma has been living with us these past few years, she's obviously aging and showing signs of early stage dementia. She has trouble trying to recall what she ate, the time of the day, and knowing where my younger sister's going to college. But she can be as sharp as a knife when recalling long memory. When we were going through her items, she was recalling a lot of her memories. This was also a trip down memory lane for both my parents. My mom sent a lot of photos back to my grandma. When we were going through a box of photos, they would stop, reminisce, pack it up, and move on. I found my grandparents' Polaroid cameras in great condition. I'm a stickler for physical media and having a growing collection of Polaroid film photos. While it was a long, exhausting 2 days, we finally were able to cut down the items into reasonable piles. Dovetailing from my last video, this was also a good opportunity to appreciate the time I still have with my family. To also declutter something that was 6 years in the making. We were planning to go to some relative's house to cap off the night with some poke and steak. But there was one more stop I wanted to make, to visit my dad's grandparents at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. My dad's parents are no longer with us and are resting at the Punch Bowl Cemetery. My grandfather was an Army mechanic reservist and thus was able to be laid to rest here alongside my grandmother. The Punch Bowl Cemetery was formed 75 to 1,000 years ago during the Honolulu period of secondary volcanic activity. For our family, it's always tradition to visit them here. We found their resting place, laid some flowers, and cleaned up the grass around their graves, taking a moment to reflect. Now, at my extended family's place, I was helping cook dinner, and I was looking at my parents and their siblings. A thought came to me. The constant passage of time is showing we're all aging, growing up. helping my mom declutter her mom's items, collecting old games, and visiting my dad's parents' resting place are poignant reminders of yes, our childhood, but reminders of the passage of time. Our time here is finite like these retro games on Oahu, finite like the time we had on this trip. Landing back in Seattle, it was raining. A little comfort to remind me of home. While I wasn't able to get a copy of Advance Wars in Hawaii, I was able to snag a copy online. Hey all, happy Lunar New Year! 2024 brings in the Year of the Dragon, and what are we gonna do to celebrate it? We're gonna be capturing shiny dragon Pokemon. Wait. Let's take a step back. What is Lunar New Year? For the uninitiated, Lunar New Year is an event that is celebrated by billions around the world. Each year is represented by one out of the 12 zodiac animals. The holiday falls on the second new moon after the winter solstice on December 21st. In many countries, it goes by different names. Some of the countries that celebrate Lunar New Year are Korea, Vietnam, and Mongolia. I know better not to try and pronounce these names, so here they are. Here in the States, Asian immigrants and their descendants like me use Lunar New Year as a time to celebrate with family, eat great food, and hang out in the international districts or Chinatown, as most of you may know it as. To me, Lunar New Year is going down to the international district and volunteering at the dragon dances ceremonies at the Wingluke Museum. Every February, they host Lunar New Year dragon dance celebrations. They use this time to weed off the evil spirits and to usher in a new year of fortune and great luck. I've been doing this since I was in college, and it's my favorite time of the year to reset and move forward from the previous years. It's a home away from home. Despite what a previous year may throw at me, I always have the Wingluke Museum and the dragon dance ceremonies to look forward to and to celebrate in the Lunar New Year. With that context out of the way, let's catch some shiny dragon Pokemon. My method to capture these shiny dragons were Masuda methoding and Dynamax adventures in Pokemon Shield. I'm aiming for the following dragon Pokemon: Alolan Executor, Bagon, Dreepy, Hydrapple, and Latias. The reason why I chose these Pokemon, they're pretty straightforward. They're all dragon Pokemon. I don't have them in my collection, and to finally get Latios' female counterpart, Latias. Back in January 2023, I was doing some Dynamax adventuring and got a Latios, probably 5 or 6 resets. I was working on Latias, but I took a break after 87 resets. 2024 Year of the Dragon, I felt like it's a good time to get Latias. We must land this yellow plane. Now, to make it a bit more automated, I'll be using this tool called a switch up. I love this device because I play other games on stream, and I can still get my fix for Pokemon. In fact, that's how we got our first Pokemon, Shiny Drippy. Let's go! One of the best parts of owning this device is that I can shiny hunt even when I sleep. So when I'm Pokemon sleeping, I can Masuda method my shinies. This very niche example is how I got my next 2 shinies, Bagon and Applin, which I evolved that into a Hydrapple. Netting 3 shinies into this challenge, I feel like it was time to hunt for the big kahuna, Shiny Latias. Dynamax adventures can be pretty fun. Growing up playing through generations 1 through 3, I was a certified button masher. I didn't really understand the type matchups, nor did I care, I just kept pressing A. The Dynamax Adventures has helped me better understand the type charts and how to counter them. Not all Dynamax Adventures are created equal. To me, Latias is a very annoying raid for 2 reasons. One is the reflect and the other is the speed. It was the day before Lunar New Year when my sister's dog wasn't feeling too well, whose likeness we use for my stickers for our charity streams we hold twice a year. She's spending her golden years being well taken care of, but recently she's been getting seizures and had to be taken care of at the vet ER. My brother and I wanted to hang with our older sister to keep her company during this time. We took some VHS Pokemon, My Neighbor Totoro, some pizza toppings to make some pizza, brought it to her house to get her mind off of Momo. Spending time with our sister cooking pizza, I also made some time to do some shiny hunting. We also spent some time going through our phones looking at Momo's old photos. Please, if you're watching this and you have a fur baby, hug them close, give them the belly rubs. It's a real blessing to spend so many years with your family pets. And it's also pretty hard to see them age. Having spent time with family was another reminder of the Lunar New Year festivities. Here's a quick update on Momo. She's feeling better, she's back home, she's on medications, and we have this little stroller that we use whenever she needs to go out on a walk. Please keep Momo in your thoughts. Well, heading into February 3rd, it was time to volunteer at the Wing Luke for the Lunar New Year celebrations. At a young age, my parents instilled in me the need to volunteer and give back. Growing up as a son of a Filipino immigrant mother and a Japanese American father, the International District or Chinatown was our safe haven. We were able to get our ingredients at the stores there to make our favorite foods, whether it be pancit, lumpia, mochi butter, or any other meal. You can always rely on the International District to find our ingredients. Shout out to Wajamaya. They follow me on Twitter, and I don't know, I think that's kind of one of the coolest flex that an Asian American can have. The pandemic did a real number on those small businesses, and 4 years out, we still get hateful people coming into our neighborhood. That's one of the reasons why I volunteer here every year, not only to support local businesses, but also to be visible in our safe haven we call home. We only have one international district. These ceremonies are important to show people why this place is important to us. It has community, great food, and preservation of the Asian American experience. If you all have one, I encourage you all to visit your local Chinatown and support the local business there. You may end up finding your favorite next restaurant, or you might find some Pokemon merch at the bookstores there. Stop by and stay a little while. After a full days of festivities, I went to the local bakery to get some buns for the family, bought some retro games over at Pink Gorilla, and said my goodbyes to the ID. Heading home. We had a yellow plane that we needed landing. I had the big brain idea of streaming my Dynamax adventure runs while also doing my resets for a shiny Celebi. I was also wrapping up my playthrough of Pokemon Crystal and getting to the main goal of the playthrough, a shiny Celebi. As you all know, the 3DS services are shutting down in April of 2023. The Pokemon Company did say that the services for Pokemon Bank and Transporter will continue on past April, but to be safe, I wanted to get this shiny out of the way. Knowing that the Gen 2 odds are 1 out of 8,192, I was in it for the grind. But then, Latias is in the ball, and hopefully... Oh, is that a shiny Licky Tongue? I think that's a shiny Licky Tongue. Chat. Nope, okay. Latias is shiny. Chat! Oh, no! Yes! Oh, there we go! That's a... Okay, look, chat. That is our shiny. Oh my god! Well, we got Celebi under odds. Who would have thought? To be honest, I was not expecting that shiny hunt to be under odds. Surely my Latias hunt will be under odds too, right? Right? I started these hunts in late January, and well, this darn yellow plane hasn't even landed yet. We were going over odds, and I was getting real worried that we may not be getting this Latias to shine. Was my luck all spent on that Celebi? Are we gonna go 3 times over odds to get this Latias? I decided it was time to take a break from this Dynamax adventure for Latias and work on another shiny hunt. A reset, if you will. Remember earlier when I said I wanted to get a Alolan Executor? Well, it turns out you can't evolve an Execute into a Alolan Execute. The only ways you can get a Execute into Generation 9 is by getting it from Generation 7, capture it in Scarlet and Violet's Indigo Disc DLC. So I figure I'd give it a go, do the picnic resets, and see if we can get our tall boy to shine. Well, after 16 quick resets for picnic, scoring that easy shiny helped me get back into a better mindset for the Latias Dynamax adventures. I found some wind in my sails, and it was time to head back into Pokemon Shield to land that yellow plane. This time around, I borrowed my brother's Switch. I figured getting a second Switch would help reduce the RNG, at least I'll have 2 solid Pokemon I can control to fight Latias. And lo and behold, 2 resets later, clocking in at 267, the yellow plane finally landed. It was off stream though, unfortunately. Heck, we even scored a Crocodile. Kinda neat how both of these are yellow shiny Pokemon, and I finally got a shiny on my brother's Switch. Oh man, what a way to close the challenge. Year of the Dragon is one of the most desired zodiac symbols. Arriving 5th in the sequence, the dragon is the most potent. An overwhelming mixture of respect and hope in invoking the dragon's power for prosperity. I managed to hit all my target dragon Pokemon for this challenge. I also got a lot of non-target shinies too, that was pretty cool. I was the most surprised that our Celebi was under odds, meanwhile our Latias was over odds. Talk about luck, right? Progress may not be always linear. Sometimes to move forward, you need to take a step back and reset. I hope your Lunar New Year will bring you prosperity and good fortune. The 3DS servers are going to shut down in April of 2024. Does that mean Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Transporter will cease to exist? Not exactly. We're lucky. The Pokemon Company did state that Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Transporter will continue to operate past April. However, they did say that they would encourage us to move our Pokemon up into Pokemon Home from our old Pokemon games as quickly as possible. For quite some time, Pokemon fans had the opportunity to play through their old Pokemon games, pick out their favorite Pokemon, and bring them up through each generation using Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Transporter. Now, with some uncertainty in the air, the clock is ticking for a lot of Pokemon fans. This leaves some of the oldest and rarest Pokemon on a short window of opportunity to shiny hunt and transfer up into Pokemon Home. This includes a non-shiny locked Celebi in the Virtual Console of Pokemon Crystal. Originally, this Celebi was exclusive to the GS Ball event in Japan. Connecting your Game Boy Color to a Japanese phone using the mobile Game Boy adapter, you could download the GS Ball into your game. Bring said ball to Kurt in Azalea Town, and it will unlock a quest to get Celebi. Just a silly side note though, the ad had a Mariners pitcher on there. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, went to a lot of Mariners games growing up during the time where Nintendo had a majority of shares in the Mariners, and it was a good time to be a Mariners fan and to enjoy all the Nintendo stuff at the Safeco field. Thankfully, the Virtual Console version of Pokemon Crystal did bring the Celebi event to Western audiences. Plus, it's a little more streamlined. To shiny hunt Celebi, you'll need the Pokemon Crystal Virtual Console game purchased on your 3DS before the eShop closure, beaten all 8 Johto Pokemon Gym leaders, beat the Elite Four, obtain the GS Ball in Goldenrod City's Poke Center, fly over to Azalea Town, talk to Kurt, and wait 24 hours for the Celebi event to activate. But before we get to the Celebi shiny hunt, let's see some of the shiny pulls I had throughout this playthrough. And no, we are not counting the shiny Gyarados and the Lake of Rage. That one does not count. A quirky shiny hunt you can do in this game is with the gifted odd egg. You can acquire it from the daycare man on Route 34. You have a 14% chance that the hatch Pokemon will be shiny with the following IVs, and these are the Pokemon that could be in the egg. After 12 resets, we got the shiny Pokemon. The algorithm, and we are phasing in, or we are on our second. Is this our second? No, our third. This is our third egg. Come on, shiny. Yo, that's 12. That's 12, chat. We got it. That's a shiny Pokemon. Yeah, we're pogging. You want to see something cool? This was a sign. I have an Igglybuff in Pokemon Sleep to a Jigglypuff. So this was a sign. My Pokemon Sleep was telling me we're gonna get a shiny Igglybuff. I want them to be twinsies, so I evolved both of them to become a Wigglytuff. This next shiny was caught before the Elite Four climb. I teleported back to Johto's New Bark Town to grab some money from Mom. When I landed, this happened. We're also shiny hunting for a Scorbunny. I've already have like 2 shiny Scorbunnies already, but I don't have one in a really cool ball, so. Oh my god, I just swapped out my Pidgeotto, so we don't have a fly Pokemon, chat. Oh my god, we're gonna have to cut through. I'm so dumb. There's no Poke Center here too. Okay, hold on, chat. Do I have a Max Repel? Maybe I can use a Max Repel right now. Well, that's our first shiny. Oh no! Oh, we're gonna fail this. I don't have any weak Pokemon. Oh no, that's our first full-out shiny. Ugh. Do I use a Master Ball? No, I don't. A ball for catching. Okay, Pidgeotto's not heavy, so we're just gonna use an Ultra Ball maybe. Oh no, a level ball. Okay, yeah, because you're low level. Okay. Dude, what are the odds? When we were battling through the Elite Four, the Pidgey evolved into a Pidgeotto. Well, after beating the Elite Four plus Lance, having these 2 shinies locked into the Hall of Fame, and rolling the credits, it was time to shiny hunt Celebi. As I mentioned in my last video, I was doing a lot of Dynamax adventures for a shiny Latias, while also resetting for the shiny Celebi in Pokemon Crystal. Now, for the odds, Dynamax adventure raids with the shiny charm is 1 out of 100 versus Pokemon Crystal's 1 out of 8,192. So you would think if you had really good successful Latias runs, I would see that plane shine first before the Celebi, right? Right? Latias is in the ball, and hopefully... Oh, is that a shiny Lickitung? I think that's a shiny Lickitung. That. Nope. Okay. Latias is shiny. Chat. Oh no. Yes. There we go. That's a. Okay. Look, chat. That is our shiny. Oh my god. Wow. That is under odds. That is 2,272. Oh my god. There we go. That is so awesome. It happened. Oh yes. Here, let's just capture Celebi right now before we forget. Oh, that's kind of cool. That was cool. Oh, that is so great. So, revered as the guardian of the forest, Celebi appears wherever beautiful forest exists. Dude! Well, here's our shiny Celebi. Who would have thought we would have gotten the Celebi first before Latias? With the shiny Celebi captured, I transferred it up into Pokemon Home and into Gen 8. I'll admit, playing through Pokemon Crystal, it was such a nostalgia trip. Hearing the music and playing through using the more simpler mechanics pulled at my heartstrings, yearning for a more simpler time. I grew up playing these games. During this playthrough, I was trying to find my Pokemon Game Boy Color and my Pokemon Gold cartridge. Safe to say, I did find both of them. I did send in my Game Boy Color to get cleaned up and get the speaker replaced, and I got the battery changed on my Pokemon Gold cartridge. It was pretty cool to land a shiny Celebi, but also getting the full odds Pidgey, as well as getting that odd egg Jigglypuff. Have you ever read an article, a piece of news or media, and thought to yourself, huh? 3DS servers shutting down in April.
Huh?
The original rabbit Pokemon is a Easter Bunny?
Huh?
Let's get to that second article later. All good things must come to an end. Realizing that the 3DS multiplayer servers are shutting down in April was unreal. An end of an era, one might say. I've already done a couple videos covering Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Transporter on the 3DS. But I've never done any of the Pokemon 3DS games. Of course, like most people my age, I grew up playing on the 3DS. I was in that lame phase, thinking I grew out of playing Pokemon, so I was playing other 3DS games. These games were Animal Crossing, Smash, Luigi's Mansion, and Fire Emblem. So if I wanted to play any of these Pokemon games, I was starting from scratch. I did get copies of those games last year, so that's a start. With the impending shutdown, I figured it was worth a try to experience the multiplayer functions on one of the 3DS era games, specifically Pokemon Y. A couple weeks prior to the end of the servers, I started my playthrough of Pokemon Y. I'll admit, I felt rushed trying to complete the game in order to unlock Friend Safari, which in order to do that, you would need to have gotten all 8 gym badges, beat the Elite Four, travel to Luminous City's train station. Upon entering, Professor Sycamore will give you a rail ticket to the city where Friend Safari is. So having to rush through the game before the servers close, you can understand how I didn't get a good impression of X and Y. I usually like to take my time in these games to experience it, to enjoy what that game has to offer. Regarding the story, mechanics, and the lore, I felt like I would probably need to do another playthrough of X and Y so that I can get a better opinion of it. Playing through Y, Easter was around the corner and April is egg month for the shiny hunting community in Pokemon. I was talking to chat asking about Pokemon they're gonna hunt when people say Wigglytuff is a bunny rabbit. I don't believe that. Yeah, there isn't really a lot of bunny Pokemon. USA Today. USA Today has a best bunny Pokemon ranked. There are now several hundred Pokemon, and the designs are inspired by most animals you can name. One of the real animals that has several pocket monsters modeled after is, of course, the bunny rabbit. Cute, fluffy, and nice. Oh, what do you mean they're nice? A perfect model for a popular Pokemon, but one could argue, we will argue, that the original rabbit Pokemon is the Easter Wait, what? What is this article? The Easter Bunny has been hiding eggs and other goodies in the garden or in the apartment for much longer than Pokemon existed. However, the industrious little guy is only ever represented as a boring but far too tasty chocolate bunny. But you know which franchise has a lot of rabbits, right? You see where this is going. What is this article going towards? The Easter Bunny isn't a Pokemon. I know, that's what I'm saying, dude. Okay, so they have Burnary at number 9, Nidoran in number 8, Scorbunny in number 7, Bunblee is number 6, Raboot is number 5, Lopunny is number 4, Diggersby is number 3, Cinderace is number 2, and number 1 as Azumarill. I can't believe I read that, chat. Maybe I make a Pokemon video, shiny hunting Pokemon, rabbit Pokemon, based off of that list. Oh my god. Yes, this is an actual article from 2022. I was so taken aback by the rankings, I just had to commit to the bit. So these are the shiny Pokemon we're going to hunt. This felt like an easy list to tackle. I already have a shiny Burnary from my past Pokemon Legends Arceus hunts, and a shiny Cinderace in my Pokemon Shield from the original playthrough that I have on there. The best part of this hunt is that when we unlock the Friend Safari feature, one of my friends had a Diggersby as the third slot to hunt. I wanted this shiny hunt to be a bit of a challenge, so I decided to try and hunt these Pokemon in different games using different methods. Friend Safari Diggersby for Pokemon X and Y, Masuda method for Bunbly and 2 Score Bunnies, one of them we're gonna evolve to a Raboot in Sword and Shield, as well as a Low Bunny in Dynamax Adventure Raids, Shiny Sandwich / Picnic method for Azumarill and Scarlet and Violet, both gendered Nidorans in the Let's Go games. Let's start with the Masuda method in Generation 8 in Sword and Shield since it is Egg Month. Yeah, I know, I'm not really following the Egg Month rules when it comes to these hunts, but hey, you know, they're eggs at the end of the day, right? In a previous video, shiny hunting Dragon-type Pokemon, I explained I was using the device to expedite the hunt. We're using the same one here. Having the shiny charm and the foreign language Ditto put us around a 1 out of 512 odds. I was able to knock out the Bunbly and 2 Score Bunnies within reasonable odds. After we evolved one of our Score Bunnies, we can scratch out the Masuda method targets off this list. While we're in Sword and Shield, let's get these Dynamax raids going. To get this Low Bunny in Dynamax Adventures, this one was a bit hard to do. We don't really control what Pokemon we can get in the Dynamax Adventure run other than choosing the path of the desired Pokemon, and that's if you know the silhouette. When we were doing these Lunala raids, we figured we'd make this Low Bunny a secondary objective. If this Low Bunny is shiny, Ruby's gonna have a sister. It's gonna happen to Ruby with my luck. Lunala's not gonna be shiny, and then this Low Bunny is gonna be shiny. I ought to check how many you've done. Honestly, I kind of just do a guess and I call it there. I should though to keep accurate count, but my brain's too small. Ruby, what did I tell you, Ruby? What did I tell you? Oh my god, shiny Low Bunny. Dude, I called it. Well, after getting these bunnies together into a campsite and made some curry with them, we made haste into Generation 9. For the Azumarill hunt, I know those little guys and gals are around the Castle Royal Lake, so we parted ways there to begin the hunt. Look, I know a lot of people think shiny hunting in Generation 9 is pretty easy. It really is. So we decided to opt out on doing an outbreak method and just rolled with finding them in the regular spawns and doing a sandwich, giving us the odds of 1 out of 683. Sure enough, after 120 resets, we managed to find that blue bunny turned into a yellow bunny. Wait a minute. Okay, I can understand why the author is getting at now. Let's let them cook. Okay, sweet. Let's move on to Pokemon X and Y. Friend Safari is pretty much the 3DS version of Safari Zone. The catch is what determines your Pokemon in the Safari depends on your friends list, and there is a third slot that can be unlocked if your friends beat the post game. Pokemon caught in the Friend Safari have 2 IVs of 31. The shiny odds are greater, 1 out of 585 to be exact. And oh man, we needed every bit of luck there. Our first shiny from the Friend Safari was a Phanpy. Yo, we got a shiny Phanpy! Oh my god, the meme music helped. The meme music helped. I would just leave it on. Dude. We were hitting over 500 plus encounters when we landed our second Phanpy that was shiny offline. Talk about luck. We were going over odds once again. Clocking in over 700 hunts, I decided to boot up my Switch and do a multi-hunt so that we can try and catch the Nidoran. Catch combo method is pretty straightforward in the Let's Go games. Catch 31 plus of the same type Pokemon and your rolls for a shiny increases. Heck, it didn't take too long to get our shiny, except it was a female Nidoran when we were hunting male Nidorans. Gender difference Pokemon do break your catch combo, so we had to start from scratch to get the male. Fortunately for us though, back in Friend Safari, we finally got the big Chungus. Hopefully nothing spawns while we're away. That'd be very sad. Okay, you spawned. Alright. Skedaddle. Finally! Jesus! Oh my god. 1046, chat. The Chungus spawns. Oh, thank god. Oh my god. Chat. Yay! Prepared. I could do timer ball because how long it took, right? Dude, look at Eevee. Eevee's already passed out. Eevee's like, bro, this Chungus took so long. Oh my god. Redoing our catch combo for the male Nidoran, we were fortunate enough to get the big Chungus in X and Y. Same day we got the big Chungus, we also got one more shiny to add to the collection from Friend Safari Zone. Vending machines, but goddamn, they're so Well, we got another shiny, chat, but it's not Target. Clocking in after 3 resets and over 1,000 Nidoran males, we finally caught the little guy.
Here comes the boy, hello boy, welcome, there he is here.
Talk about a challenge, huh? So let's recap. This challenge spanned over 4 different Pokemon games, 2 consoles, and 5 method hunts. Kind of insane. In closing, while I didn't spend too much time in Kalos, I can understand why people have a soft spot for this generation. This was one of the first 3DS Pokemon games to make the jump from 2D to 3DS. There's a lot to be desired, and I'm looking forward to seeing what is there to offer in Pokemon ZA and how it ties back to the X and Y games. Okay, here we go, chat. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See. Oh. Look at that, chat. That's our shiny Mew. What you're seeing and hearing is a timer synchronized with a cartridge of Pokemon Emerald, counting down to a very specific frame. A frame that will get us a shiny Mew. This is the story of how we caught a shiny Mew on someone else's save file in Pokemon Emerald. This journey began last year. I was collecting Pokemon games prior to the 3DS eShop closure. Check out that video if you're curious. I wanted to get these games not only to collect, I also wanted to catch rare shiny Pokemon and transfer them up through Pokemon Transporter and Pokemon Bank before they shut down on the 3DS. Growing up with Pokemon, I was always fascinated with legendary and mythical Pokemon. They made movies about them, so they were special and cool. With the shutdown of Pokemon Bank and Transporter software imminent on the 3DS, I knew I wanted to transfer rare shiny Pokemon from these old carts before its closure. Hence one of my previous videos catching a shiny Celebi. My next target, a shiny Mew. There are currently 3 ways to get a shiny Mew. The 8F Mew from the Virtual Console versions of Red and Blue, completing the all-in-one 151 Masterwork Research quest in Pokemon Go, and lastly, obtaining the old C map via distribution events in Pokemon Emerald. The old C map was distributed only to Japan and Taiwan in 2005's Pokemon Festa. You see, back in the Gen 3 heyday, there were these in-person events that you could go to and get specific Pokemon via distribution events. They were, however, time limited and varied depending on where you were located plus the regional game you had. Here are some examples. In North America, there was a Toys R Us distribution. Taiwan was able to obtain the Mew via PokePark. So this is where the story picks up. I got a Japanese version of Pokemon Emerald off of eBay. Upon booting up this cartridge, I noticed that this was basically a new save file. They only had 53 minutes on it. Their starter was a Torchic, they got a Zigzagoon and a Poochyena, and they got all the way up to Petalsburg. And then it dawned on me. I wanted to preserve this save file, like how I preserved Adam's save file off of that Ruby cartridge last year. Except this time, I wanted to finish what this person started. I wanted to complete their game and get a shiny Mew. Besides, this person named their trainer a pretty cool name, Lupine, like the flower. There's a lot of bugs and quirks in these old games, specifically in Pokemon Emerald. We can use that to our advantage though. A prominent one is the fact that the RNG is very consistent in Pokemon Emerald. I'll let Blissey explain it here in one of their videos.
In Emerald, the initial seed is actually always the same, 0. This is because of a programming error. Many people think it has to do with a dead internal battery, but Emerald is the only game where that's not the case.
So yeah, in order to catch this shiny Mew, we are going to use RNG manipulation. When it comes to RNG manipulation, I'm no subject matter expert when it comes to this topic. So if you're looking for a tutorial or a deep dive, I'd recommend checking out Blissey and Hefe's videos on these topics. I'll link their guides and videos in the description below this video. Just to give a high-level overview for Mew, you would need to have the necessary software installed on your PC and your choice of the game you want to RNG manip. Make sure you have the latest versions of Pokefinder and Eon Timer. In Eon Timer, make sure your console settings match the console of choice to RNG manip. You would need to have your trainer ID and secret ID. Select static since Mew is a stationary mythical encounter. Input the settings. You would need to generate the frames, decide which frame you want, input frame into the Eon Timer, set up the encounter, calibrate, and adjust till shiny, which is similar to how you hunt the box legendaries and other legendaries on the cartridge. So in order to do some practice, we went after those legendaries. I mean, heck, if we're gonna get the shiny Mew, we might as well try and get the other legendaries shiny using this method. Now, I gotta say, learning this method to shiny hunt Pokemon was pretty fun. You know that Smiling Friends segment about the paperclips? That was me.
What? That's ridiculous. I've never heard of such a thing. Though I suppose trying it couldn't hurt. No, this can't be. I must be dreaming. Oh my god!
The dopamine rush of getting your timings right, the time saved by hitting the exact frame for a specific shiny I wanted, it was all addicting. I didn't go for Latias or Latios because in a previous video, I already got them through Dynamax Adventures. After getting all those legendaries, it was time to get the shiny Mew. It was a little silly setting up for this challenge since Mew moves around as you do, similar to the NPCs on Route 119. Because of all that practice, we got our shiny Mew shortly after. Okay, here we go, chat. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See. Oh. Look at that, chat. That's our shiny Mew. Not even 10 minutes into the Pokemon stuff, chat, and we already got the shiny Mew. Look at that, chat. And well, that's the hunt. When I first started this playthrough, I was learning how to RNG manip. It was very daunting. However, if you're willing and able, and you have a knack for learning, you too can achieve RNG manipulation to catch shiny Pokemon and do a lot of crazy things with it. For me, learning something new and sharing it with others brings me joy. Do you remember graduating from your respective academies in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, off to seek your treasure in the world, or maybe graduating college in real life, just like your avatars in Scarlet and Violet? May and June is graduation season for college students. You see, back in May, I flew out with my family to the East Coast to see my younger sister graduate. She is the youngest and the last one to graduate from college. My brother, older sister, and I were all excited to see her graduate and walk in our footsteps for this huge milestone. So you might be asking yourself, well, Yoshi, what does Pokemon have to do with graduation? During this time, I recently got a shiny Mew in the Japanese cart for Pokemon Emerald, and so I was riding off of that high. So I wanted to get more shiny Pokemon. Thus, a new challenge came to mind. How many shinies can I catch before my sister graduates? Not only were we there to see her graduate, she's a athlete on her softball team for college. So we had a couple of matches to watch her play before she graduates, thus some extra days. We flew in on a Thursday and her graduation was on a Saturday. That leaves us a couple of days to shiny hunt. Obviously, with a lot going on, there isn't a lot of time, but I figure I'd try and squeeze in some time to shiny hunt some Pokemon. The games I'll be shiny hunting in are Pokemon Scarlet on my Switch, and a Japanese copy of Pokemon Emerald on my SP. The first day was mostly filled with travel. After a 7+ hour flight, we were all hungry, so we hit up Bojangles for a quick lunch. Can I just say how amazing Bojangles is, and I wish we had them in the Pacific Northwest. Afterwards, we were making ourselves home at the Airbnb. My siblings and I all played sports growing up, though my younger sister was the only one who took it all the way to college. After a couple of great games and my sister kicking some butt, it was time to get some dinner and rest up for the night. No shiny hunting on that day. Day 2, we had some reprieve due to some inclement weather, so there was no softball that day. While my parents were doing some errands, I was at the Airbnb watching my grandma and started doing some shiny hunts. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we get these mass outbreak events that gives us boosted odds for shinies in mass outbreaks. That week's mass outbreak had a focus on Pokemon with gold shinies. Our targets were the Riolu and Verum lines, mostly because we don't have them yet as shinies. So those are our targets. I took my Switch outside to enjoy the weather with my grandma and shiny hunt. Because of how easy it is to shiny hunt in Scarlet and Violet, plus the boosted shiny odds from the event, I didn't use any sandwiches. Heading over to Paldea's East Province Area 3, we began our hunt for the Varoom line. And heck, you know, only after 3 eliminations, our first golden engine boy was found. Talk about luck. After we got that first engine, we began hunting for the next one, and oh well, you know, it really didn't take too much time to find the second engine. It was only after 10 eliminations that we found the second golden engine for the evolution line. With 2 of those Varooms out of the way, it was time to fly over to the Terrarium's coastal biome for the golden dung bead. I mean the Riolo evolution line. I decided to use the synchro gimmick to hunt down these golden turds. After 41 eliminations, we found our first golden dung roller, and you know, I kid you not, after eliminating 2 more of their brethren, we found the last Reoler for the line. After a quick leveling up sesh for our golden engine to evolve into a Rivaroom and walking our little round doo-doo boy till he himself evolved into a gold shiny, we were all done for the Pokemon that we had targeted in Pokemon Scarlet. After dinner, I hung out with my siblings and watched them play games on my Steam Deck. We chatted about the softball matches till it was bedtime. Day 3 started early for me. I needed to finish up some origami cranes for my little sister's lei. Because my family is from Hawaii, we follow an age-old tradition of giving leis out to the siblings graduating. I wanted to help contribute to her leis. I figured I asked my mom if I can make a lei with origami. See, our late grandma on my dad's side of the family taught us how to make cranes. After all this time and work that she's done for her schooling, I wanted to make something sentimental for her graduation. So I spent the morning working on those origami leis for her. After another lunch at Bojangles, we headed to the softball field to watch a doubleheader match. Little sister and her team were playing their hearts out, especially since this was senior day for those on the team that were graduating like herself. They won their first match, only for it to get rained out for the second match. Didn't think we'd bring the rain from the Pacific Northwest to the East Coast, but you know, oh well. It was getting late and we were retiring for the evening for dinner. Knowing grad day will be hectic on Saturday, I knew I had to get my last shinies in today. After stuffing myself with some southern food, it was time for the real brain-scratching shiny hunt. Pokemon Emerald is a pretty buggy game. I mentioned this in my last video, but for the uninitiated, here's a little short explanation from Blissey.
In Emerald, the initial seed is actually always the same, 0. This is because of a programming error. Many people think it has to do with a dead internal battery, but Emerald is the only game where that's not the case.
Around this time, I was addicted to learning RNG manipulation and to use it for shiny Pokemon. There are plenty of ways to exploit the RNG manipulation in that game to get some really awesome shinies. So on this trip, I was pretty determined to use one method in particular, Sweet Scent RNG manipulation. I want to preface this and say again, I'm no expert in RNG manipulation. I'm learning it as I go. So if you're looking for a guide, please check out Hefe or Blissey's guides, as they have a better understanding and years of experience. I'll leave their guides in the description below. Our targets for Pokemon Emerald were the Mightyena evolution line. Again, I was learning how to use RNG manipulation, so in the next bit here, I was making a lot of errors. We're learning as we go. While going for our first target, Poochyena, I ended up catching a shiny Pokemon that wasn't our target twice. Let me explain. The first attempt, we got a Zigzagoon. I'll try my best to think of an explanation here, but I was in the tall grass in Route 120 versus regular grass when using this Sweet Scent. So I'd imagine that the pool of Pokemon for the frame advancements were different than the ones that you would get in regular grass. If there's any RNG manip experts, can you please let me know in the comment section below if that's accurate or not? That's just my hunch. After realizing the quirky shiny I got, I went to Route 121 with a regular grass and began our attempts. After 4 RNG Minip encounters, I found our golden dog, but it was a Mightyena? I shouldn't be complaining, but a shiny is a shiny. But doing the calculations and stuff, I was pretty confused. Target was a Poochyena. Again, my takeaway from it was that we had that NPC there, moving around and advancing frames randomly. Thus, we did hit a shiny frame, it was just not our target, and we got that Mightyena. After shrugging off those 2 quirky shinies, we were on our final target. For those of you who don't know, Mightyena and Poochyena have Roar, so you're playing with fire if you don't have the right setup. Of course, I found out that the hard way. I didn't let that failed Poochyena deter me from trying to get this shiny Pokemon. So after readjusting and moving myself around in Route 121, we were able to get our shiny Poochyena.
Very quiet.
There we go. There's the Mightyena.
In the end, we got 7 shiny Pokemon. While making all those mistakes and learning that new process, I was glad to wrap up that hunt before my sister graduated. Looking back, it was a memorable time for my younger sister to wrap up her final collegiate season playing softball and to graduate. This meant way more to my sister and her cohort. After all, this was a cohort of graduates who didn't have a traditional graduation. See, my younger sister graduated high school during the pandemic. So to go through a pandemic on her final year of high school, only to graduate and walk quote-unquote virtually, it was underwhelming for her. She never got that bombastic graduation like myself, my brother, our older sister had growing up. And so that's why I wanted to help contribute to her celebration. I wanted to make it a little more sentimental for her, and that's why I created that origami crane lei. Of course, through all of these graduations in the family, the last surviving grandparent on my mom's side of the family got to see her youngest granddaughter graduate. She never had those opportunities growing up like we did. So, doing what we can to celebrate our accomplishments, This was our way to honor her. Quickly, name an iconic Pokemon from your childhood or from recent memory. You can put your answers in the comments section below. For me, I can't think of a more iconic Pokemon than Ho-Ho. I mean, heck, it appeared in the first episode of the Pokemon anime, and it's a mascot legendary in Pokemon Gold. Side note, when I was younger watching that episode, it was a tearjerker. Watching Pikachu and Ash laying on the ground, they're tired from their kerfuffle with wild Pokemon, and then suddenly a giant bird overhead appears and they are amazed. If that wasn't compelling, maybe the recent art trend of Big Burb Ho-Ho will convince you. Ho-Ho isn't immune to becoming big. Another reason I can think of is that Pokemon caught in the virtual console versions of Gen 1 and 2 games get a unique icon for notifying their origins, more specifically a Game Boy icon. When you move it off into a newer generation Pokemon game, you can see the icon, like the Celebi for example. If you've seen my other videos, I've been on a journey collecting rare, older, shiny Pokemon off of their cartridges or games and transferring them up using Pokemon Bank or Pokemon Transporter before its closure. It's kind of a running video series on my channel. At the time of this video's upload, there isn't a set date for the closure. However, I don't want to find myself butting up to the eventual deadline. So the journey continues with our next target, Shiny Ho-Ho. So if I sold you on the idea of shiny hunting this legendary bird, you might be asking yourself, well, Yoshi, how do we hunt this shiny bird? Currently, there are plenty of ways to get a Ho-Ho, but for this video, we're going to focus on the crystal version due to the Game Boy icon making it a unique thing to own. In order to get access to Ho-Ho, you have to beat the post game, which means you'd have to have collected all the gym badges, beaten the Elite Four, and explored a bit of Kanto, captured the 3 legendary beasts, talked to a Sween, and they will mention seeing a rainbow bird flying around Ekutik City. Make your way back to Johto and head for the Tin Tower in Ekutik City. Talk to this person and they will hand you the rainbow feather. Progress through the tower and solve the puzzle. Head to the roof and you will have Ho-Ho waiting for you. Make sure you save before encountering Ho-Ho and you can start your hunt by soft resetting. Now during this hunt, I was also practicing RNG manipulation in Pokemon Emerald. I've done a couple videos on this topic already, so after watching this, check out the playlist with those videos here or in the description below. I like mid-maxing my time shiny hunting, so you'll always see me with 2 hunts going on at the same time, which means I was in it for the long run. I mean, my shiny Celebi was under odds, so I was fully expecting the shiny Ho-Ho to be over odds. It's not going to deter me, plus it was nice to go and visit Johto once again. Well, did you think we went over odds? Hardening here is not going to help us, I don't think. Is he just going to keep tail whipping us? God. Chat! Oh! Are you kidding me? That's a shiny. Yo, I don't have the audio. Wow. Okay, let's go and capture it, chat. Let's go and capture that. Good lord, that is so awesome. Hey, the shiny Clefairy. Ours now. Dude. Oh my god. Dude, I'm so glad I didn't reset on it, dude. I was so afraid the longest time, chat. I was so afraid for the longest time that we were gonna reset on it. Oh my god, that is so awesome, chat. Let's go. It will reveal itself before a pure-hearted trainer, I think, right? Pure-hearted trainer by shining its bright rainbow-colored wings. Dude, oh my god, under odds. This is even more under odds than Celebi, chat. It's even more under odds than Celebi. Celebi was 2,772 encounters, and then freaking 1,858. Dude, oh my god. Well, this is our shiny. Reflecting back on this hunt, I couldn't believe my luck. For now, I'm going to keep Shiny Ho-Ho on the 3DS because I got some ideas for this bird. Also, my Switch is kinda locked in from another project coming up soon, so I'm not transferring it anytime soon. Playing through these older games more and more, I'm reminded why I fell in love with this franchise growing up. The allure of collecting rare Pokemon, playing a simple game at face value, but has so much more to offer if you put time and effort, and a poignant reminder of how far we've come. So if you're still on this Pokemon journey like I am, check in on yourself. Are you and your Pokemon doing alright? Are there any Pokemon battles that you're managing on your own? Have you made time with loved ones and shared with them your amazing Pokemon stories? Or are you taking a checkpoint at a Pokemon Center to rest up and you'll catch up with everyone else? Let me know in the comment section below. Riddle me this. What is something we can all do, can't live without, and you can catch shiny Pokemon in? Take your guesses and put them in the comment section below. If you guess sleep, then you're correct. Pokemon Sleep to be exact. Released in July 2023, Pokemon Sleep is parts collecting game and parts sleep tracker. Albeit, if you really want something serious to track your sleep, consider an Apple Watch or any tool or application. It's very generous with its tracking, but if it's your first foray to sleep trackers and you're just casual about it, it's a good start. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail about Pokemon Sleep, just because that in itself could be its own video due to the length and complexities of Pokemon Sleep. So for now, we'll just cover it in broad general terms. Once you made an account, did the tutorial, and selected your island, you can track your sleep using two methods: a Pokemon Go++ device, or your phone, albeit you'll need to keep it charged and on, facing downwards. Once it's activated, well, you just sleep. How deep your sleep will determine what kind of Pokemon and their sleep styles you will see in the morning. There are three kinds of sleep that Pokemon Sleep tracks: dozing, snoozing, and slumbering. How well of a sleep you had the night before will determine the Pokemon sleep styles you get in the morning. So in other words, rest your very best. These types of sleeps will net you different Pokemon and their sleep styles. Your sleep is graded within the app based on two criteria: sleep, duration, and consistency. Based on your sleep data, your sleep for the day will be categorized into one of the following types: dozing, snoozing, slumbering, and balance. So to put it simply, sleep to research Pokemon, capture their sleep styles, feed them Poke Biscuits to friend them, find the Poke Friends that work with the island that you are on, add them into a team, and give them 3 square meals a day, collect the berries for Snorlax, record your sleep, wake up, read your reports, and do it all again. Pro tip, if you want to see your friends' sleep progress, you can add them in the Research Community tab. Once you're there, you can collect candies to level up your Pokemon. If you don't have friends that use Pokemon Sleep, here's a website that one of my subs recommended to exchange Sleep Friends code. Now we can collect Pokemon and their shiny counterparts in Pokemon Sleep. You know, I'm not really a mobile game player. You know, the last one I really delved into was Fallout Shelter all those years ago. But after that experience, I swore off mobile games. That in itself can be its own video too. I didn't even get into Pokemon Go, even though I'm a huge Pokemon fan. So I'm surprised that I'm really invested in Pokemon Sleep. Granted, you literally just sleep, and the tasks and upkeep for the app is really not that hard to do, so I think that's why I'm really invested in playing Pokemon Sleep. We did all this talking about Pokemon Sleep, but why though? Well, this July marks the first year anniversary of Pokemon Sleep. Devs have launched a lot of events since then, and there's a special one to celebrate its first anniversary. Well, how do you think we're going to celebrate it? We're going to catch our shiny Pokemon that we got in Pokemon Sleep. Again, yes, you can get shiny Pokemon on the app, but you see, Pokemon caught in Pokemon Sleep are stuck on the app, only to use in your sleep adventures. How many shinies do you think I have in Pokemon Sleep? I have 10. I wanted to challenge myself and see if I can catch all 10 of my shiny Pokemon from Pokemon Sleep in the mainline games to celebrate the first anniversary. Now, I don't know the odds for shiny in Pokemon Sleep, and you know, I'm a freemium user. I don't really use any of the premium stuff at all. If you're a Pokemon Sleep expert, let us know in the comments section below. I'm no stranger when it comes to shiny hunting Pokemon challenges, as seen in my previous videos. If you want to catch up on those adventures, check them out here, or check it out in the description below. Now, I've caught these shinies throughout Pokemon's first year of inception, so there is a lot to go through. These shiny Pokemon all have different sleep styles when I caught them, and it got me thinking, why don't I try and catch these shiny Pokemon in the different mainline games? Which brings us to the Pokemon games and methods we will use to shiny hunt. Over the course of playing Pokemon Sleep for a year, here are the 10 shiny Pokemon I've collected. Now, I've gotten a few of these Pokemon serendipitously throughout the year, so we can cross them off for the hunt. These are Igglybuff, which we evolved into a Wigglytuff and caught it in Pokemon Crystal during our hunt for Celebi. Shuppet, which we caught in Pokemon Y. Hey there, it's Yoshi post-editing. I realized I made a grave error in our shiny hunting. I mixed Phanthrup and Shuppet together, thinking they're one and the same. It's kind of a bummer that I made that error because Shuppet is in the thumbnail. I don't know, maybe we'll make a post hunt for this to, you know, make amends for that. But yeah, I just want to let you know I made that silly little error, so sorry about that. So that leaves us with 8 Pokemon to catch. The games and method hunts we will use are Masuda Method in Pokemon Shield, Catch Combo in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Outbreak Picnic Method in Pokemon Scarlet, and Pokemon Leaf Green and Emerald using RNG manipulation. So let's start off with Pokemon Shield using the Masuda Method. To recap, if you're unfamiliar with this method, here's a little illustration. Pause if you want to read it. We had to catch a Togepi in a luxury ball as well, so we headed to a bridge field area, did some date skipping to make it overcast, which gives us a 5% spawn rate to catch Togepi. Did you know that you can't use Togepi to breed for eggs? I didn't know that. You will need to evolve it into a Togetic or a Togekiss. Now, luckily for us, we caught it in a luxury ball, so we already had some friendship. So after entering a campsite and feeding it curry, we got it to evolve into a Togetic. Now, this hunt is automated thanks to my switch up as shown in an older video. I didn't get the footage of the shiny hatch because it was running throughout the day, but after 426 hatches, we got it. Heading over to Let's Go Eevee, we went over to Route 7 to begin our hunt or Eradicate. I chose this route due to its spawners and decent area where it can spawn. We got to 205 when we broke our first catch combo. I was disappointed, but nonetheless, we kept hunting. I decided to change it up and headed over to the Pokemon Mansion, where there are more spawners and a bigger venue, plus a 20% spawn rate for the Eradicate. The big worry here is sometimes your Pokemon can run off screen, so you have to be attentive. In my opinion, I feel like these Eradicate here are a bit more grouchy, because after feeding one of them, we broke our 605 catch combo. Literally, after we fed them the berry, they just decided to eat out of there. Being patient after these setbacks, we build up another catch combo for the Eradicate, and after our third catch combo at 284, we caught the little guy. Third time's the charm, as they say. Plus, after an uneventful catch combo of 172, the shiny Psyduck shined as well. And we were done with Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Up next is Pokemon Scarlet. These hunts in the new games are pretty straightforward. You make a sandwich and you picnic reset till desired shiny. You don't even really need outbreaks. Our target was Mankey, so we flew over to the Western Province Area 1 near the windmills. We made our fighting type sandwich and went to work resetting and gearing up for the hunt. At the time of this hunt, I was listening to the Pokemon Sleep official soundtrack and to figure out which songs I wanted to add in there. And well, by the nature of the songs, I got a little bit eepy. And we missed our target, Mankey here. Add a failed shiny to our belt. We were licking our wounds after that failed shiny Mankey to end up phasing on a Makuhita. However, after 50 resets, we managed to get our Mankey to come back home. In that same stream, we decided to hunt our Houndour in the Inlet Grotto. This is where we met our Koraidon and Miraidon in the respective games. I felt a little paranoid due to the multi-layer of the area and feared that we may miss our shiny or it will despawn before our very eyes. I decided to fly over to Kitakami to make our picnics and sandwiches over at Inferno Pass where Houndour can spawn. After 22 picnic resets, we got our Houndour. Now we learned from our previous Gen 3 mistake and we put that little guy to asleep ASAP. To add icing on the cake, I caught him in the Gen 2 Pokeball. The Lure Ball. The last one for the Pokemon Scarlet games was Lavatar. This one was not that hard to do. We flew over to East Province Area 3, head over to this cave entrance area, walk to this portion of the cave at this very specific spot, make your sandwich, and lo and behold, they kind of just come out of there. Really weird, but you know, it's kind of funny. After 44 picnic resets, got our Lavatar. To catch Sudowoodo and Squirtle, we're going to end the hunt here in Pokemon Leaf Green and Emerald. Shout out to the Gen 3 enjoyers like myself. I really love this generation. If you want to learn why I love this generation, check out this video here. Now these games we're going to do some RNG manipulation. I've talked about it a lot before, and due to the length of the video at this point, I'll link Hefe's and Blissy's video guides in the comment section below, so check it out and subscribe to their content as well. For the keen-eyed Gen 3 enjoyers, you would know there's an odd looking tree near the waterfall at the Hoenn Battle Frontier. Having already learned a lot on how to do stationary RNG manipulation, it was no sweat off my brow, and after 16 resets we got our Sudowoodo. Hey, it's post-editing Yoshi here again. Earlier in the video I talked about how I didn't get a Shuppet in Pokemon X. That is still correct, however, I just did a quick RNG to get Shuppet in Pokemon Emerald, and it only took 2 attempts in 26 minutes and we got our Shuppet. So, we're in the clear, we got our shiny here. At this point we got all 10 shinies now, so I just wanted to show this here. There's me catching it as well as the spread and showing it on the screen too as well to show that it is legit. And yeah, back to the video. To RNG manipulate in Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red, it's a bit harder. To keep it brief, these games were not as broken as their Emerald counterpart, so not only do you have to get the correct advanced frame, you have to also get the correct seed. This is called double frame perfect. I've practiced this hunt on a Charmander and got it on our second try, but I chalk it up to good luck. After loading a save where we get to choose our starters, I went to work. I had a lot of anxiety trying to catch this Squirtle live on stream while also doing a dual hunt. So to minimize my distractions and ease my anxiety, I did it offline. After many close attempts, we got our shiny Squirtle after 49 resets. And yeah, that's all 10 of our shinies. You might have already hovered your mouse on the progress bar and see there's still some segments left, and you might be asking yourself, Yoshi, why is there still video? You already got 10 of your shinies, what is there left to talk about?
Ugh, fine, I guess you are my little PogChamp. Come here.
Yeah, that's 11 shinies. Not too long ago, we caught a shiny Bulbasaur in one of our more recent Pokemon Sleep reports. 11 shinies now. I put this hunt off to the very last second just because I'm dreading this hunt. You see, I'm still very new at RNG manipulating in Leaf Green. It's the least amount of time I've put in a hunt, and so I was not looking forward to trying to hunt this last guy. I thought I should just get it in Scarlet just because the Indigo Disc DLC, you can get your starters there and it it's so easy, but you know, I already got Charmander and Squirtle using RNG manipulation in Leaf Green, so I figured, you know what, let's just lock in and try to get this Bulbasaur too as well. And you know what, it wasn't that bad. It took a bit, but I was happy to say that I got it under 25 attempts, 23 to be exact. Nothing feels more rewarding than applying what you learn, practicing it, and then it starts to click. That was a rewarding hunt. And yeah, that's all the shinies. 11 shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Sleep. As someone with inattentive ADHD, my biggest life struggle is trying to get a full night's rest. I often find myself creating healthy nightly routines and habits only for it to get derailed by anxiety, being overstimulated, overthinking, or just spending a lot of my time at night trying to find something that I lost during the day. So to add Pokemon Sleep to my nightly habit before bed, it's been helpful. I'm not a grade A sleeper, and there are times where I break my good habits again. However, gradually going to bed earlier, feeding your Pokemon at the correct times, and doing my silly little tasks in Pokemon Sleep, there's some positive reinforcement when it comes to my nightly routines now. In no way is this the end-all be-all way to cure someone's struggle with sleep, but as my therapist likes to say, it's the little things that count. As you do these little things, you reinforce positive behavior and you build something better than before. So don't feel deterred if you get an F grade in your Pokemon Sleep report, or you find yourself in another bad nightly habit again. Acknowledge the setback, forgive yourself, and focus on the little things that can all add up to something better. And remember, rest your very best. Have you ever had a frustrating shiny hunt? A hunt that you thought was going to be so easy peasy, but it ended up being over odds? Or the shiny is indistinguishable to its regular form? Enter Poltchageist. Introduced in Gen 9's Scarlet and Violet Teal Mask DLCs, they're located in the Kitakami's Bamboo biome. No, it's not a regional form of Sinistea. As stated in the Violet Pokédex, they're unrelated. What they do share is having two variations, a counterfeit and an authentic/artisan form. How do you distinguish between those variations? A stamp. A stamp so tiny, so hard to recognize, you can easily miss it if you don't know what you're looking for. Luckily, if you do catch one of these Pokemons, you get a screen that will specify whether it's real or fake. When the reveal trailer for Poltchageist first dropped, I was excited to hunt for this little guy, though I was cautious. Remembering the Sword and Shield days, I've heard stories for hunts for Sinistea, so I was gonna wait till I stumbled upon an outbreak of Poltergeists. As the data miners found out later on, since Scarlet and Violet's 2.0.1 update, it fixed an outbreak bug, allowing for both variation Pokemon outbreaks to appear. More on that later. Now, as a shiny hunter myself, I've had my fair share of hard, crazy, and overawed shiny hunts. Yet none of these pale in comparison to the experience of hunting this T-Caddy. I mean, my Gen 2 luck has been insane up to this point, so raw dogging full odds didn't even compare to the experience I had shiny hunting this Poltchageist. I mean, hell, evolving these things requires separate items depending if they're real or fake. It's crazy how specific and detailed you have to be for this Pokemon. This story begins earlier in July of this year. I was actually shiny hunting Pokemon for a video on Pokemon Sleep when I happened to stumble upon a Poltergeist outbreak. Now, I was managing my expectations because there's a good chance these outbreaks can be straight up counterfeit. However, doing a quick little catch, we found out that yes, this is the artisan outbreak. As stated earlier, thanks to the work of data miners, we found out variation outbreaks for Pokemon were fixed, allowing for artisan Poltergeist outbreaks to appear. So weighing the costs and benefits in my head, my inattentive ADHD went into overdrive. I decided to pause the shiny hunts for the Pokemon Sleep video until I found an artisan Poltchageist. At first, I thought it was going to be a quick one. The Gen 9 games are notorious for being too easy to shiny hunt in. With the shiny charm, your odds are so good, and you can go through so many encounters, you can easily get your desired Pokemon well within the 30 minutes of that Herba Mystica sandwich shiny boost. And well, unfortunately, that wasn't the case here. I felt like I was soft resetting on the actual shiny Poltchageist, but can you blame me? Have you seen the Poltchageist shiny and non-shiny? They look so alike. The shiny is dark green compared to the black accents on the non-shiny form. So yes, looking at it on Celebi.net, it's perceived as distinct. However, man, have you seen what it looks like in-game? After watching a few videos to get an idea of what it looks like, I gulped and proceeded with the new mission. Now, to delve into the weeds here, the avid Gen 9 shiny hunters discovered a method in Scarlet and Violet to shiny hunt. It's called the counting method. To put it simply, there will always be 15 Pokemon in your proximity regardless of an outbreak or not. However, if there's a shiny Pokemon among them, there will be 16. So I decided to combine the picnic reset and counting methods, try and speed up this hunt. And well, that didn't help. Not only do these guys like to wander away, well, they like to rest in the evening, so you're on a time limit due to the spawns for the Poltchageist only appearing at night. So if you don't have the correct time of day, you can kiss your time and sandwich away, as the Poltchageist like to rest in the evening. We did get a shiny, but it wasn't our target shiny, it was a shiny Growlithe. This little guy appeared towards the end of the sandwich, so I couldn't just reset on it, and it was in the corner of my eye, so I picked up on it, and well, we caught it. Knowing I was pressed on time to hunt my shiny Pokemon from Pokemon Sleep, I took the hunt offline the next day. Thankfully, if you avoid connecting online and revert your Switch clock back to the day you encountered the outbreak, you can keep it indefinitely. With these little nitpicks, you can imagine the frustration and errors that arose in this hunt. Oh, did I forget the size? Look how small this little goober is. I told my thumbnail artist to please make them bigger for the sake of the thumbnail. Countless false alarms, the lighting in the game bamboozling me, fear of the little guy just straight up fleeing the scene, or having a reset on them without me knowing, it all drove me up a wall. When I get frustrated like this, I like to remind myself why I love shiny hunting Pokemon in the first place. What I love about shiny hunting Pokemon is a term I like to use, the inevitable point. The definition reads, unable to be avoided, evaded, or escaped. It's certain, fated, an inevitable conclusion. You reach the point in your shiny hunt that the odds are in your favor. At a point, you're definitely going to get that shiny Pokemon. If you miss it, well, you're just over odds, and you need to re-roll until you get to that point once again. And to me, that's what makes it all fun. The fact that if you stick with it long enough, you can get a shiny Pokemon through the encounters. Getting under odds shinies, well, that's the icing on the cake. That before you reach the inevitable point, through sheer luck, you got the shiny beating the odds. It's why I love RNG manipulation too. Given the odds in the game, and yet with a few tools and being skillful pressing A at the right frame, you yourself can get a shiny Pokemon. And those odds, well, it depends on a generation. So keeping the inevitable point front and center in my mind, doing my best to use my boomer eyes to try and find the shiny, we accidentally encountered the shiny Poltchageist at 378 picnic resets. With around 15 Pokemon per picnic encounter, that's an estimate total of 5,670 Poltchageists. Lo and behold, look at that shiny. But I mean, come on now, doesn't that look like its regular form? I swear that lighting is throwing me off. We saved our game so we can get ready to catch the Poltchageist, but knowing how insane this hunt is, I wanted to take it a step further. Yes, I caught it in a beast ball. It took a few tries, but luckily I landed a crit catch. Finally, the shiny T-Caddy was finally ours. We finally reached the inevitable point. Growing up playing Pokemon on this old thing, did anyone run into that big back Pokemon blocking a path ahead? Were you like me button mashing inputs without reading the dialogue and ended up confused why this big old Pokemon was blocking your path and didn't know how to progress? Enter Snorlax. Big chunky fella, this Pokemon was famously known for blocking various routes in the early Pokemon games. Routes 12 and 16 in Gen 1 games and their remakes, blocking the Diglett Cave in Vermilion City in Gen 2, as well as the remakes, or walking around guarding an area in Sword and Shield and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Heck, it had its own episode in the original anime. It's also the mascot in the Pokemon Sleep mobile game. Safe to say, this big guy is a lovable Pokemon. on. Before I delve further into this video, I wanted to say a quick thank you for all the engagement on my channel recently. I'm still new to all this YouTube stuff, so it means a lot that all of you are interacting with my videos. I love reading your comments, and to hear how other creators stumble upon my videos, it's kind of surreal. I get to make silly little videos about Pokemon and upload them to my little corner of the internet. And I'm happy you all enjoy it. So thank you once again, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I've been working on a series hunting rare shiny Pokemon from the older Pokemon games and have plans to transfer them up to the modern titles. I have a couple reasons why I'm doing this. It's a unique shiny challenge unburdened by the shiny charm or the modern odds of 1 out of 4,096. Most of these older games have the original 1 out of 8,192 odds. It's a way for me to relive my childhood games and replay through them once again. Virtual console Pokemon that you transfer up have a unique signifier of its origins, the Game Boy mark. I want to collect them now before Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Transporter's eventual closure date, still to be determined at the time of this video's upload. Plus, for this Snorlax, I wanted to see if I can catch a shiny Snorlax to celebrate Pokemon Sleep's first year anniversary. The story begins where we ended our shiny Ho-Oh hunt. It was right after I caught a shiny Ho-Oh on June 6, 2024 that I immediately started progressing for Lugia. However, knowing how close we were to Pokemon Sleep's first anniversary and the fact that in Gen 2 Snorlax blocks your way to Lugia, the stars were aligning. I wanted to see if we can catch a shiny Snorlax in time for the Pokemon Sleep video for the first year anniversary. If you don't know how to hunt for Snorlax, here's the setup. First off, Snorlax is located in Vermilion City in Kanto. Have to beat the post game, which means you'd have to have collected all the gym badges, beaten the Elite Four, and explored a bit of Kanto. Once in Kanto, complete the power generator side quest. Head back to Johto and obtain the Poke Radio in Goldenrod City inside of the radio tower. In there, talk to the gal and pass the quiz for the radio card. Go back to Kanto to obtain the EXPN card in Lavender Town, located in this building, and talk to this man with the hat. Lastly, fly over to Vermilion City, head over to Snorlax, save, open your Poke Gear, and cycle to the radio. Scan your Poke Radio till you hit the Poke Flute, interact with Snorlax, and begin your hunt. Quick side note, whenever you do a soft reset, you always have to manually tune to the Poke Flute channel on your Poke Radio. So just a heads up, if you're going to try and shiny hunt this, you can't save and have it as a prerequisite. Now, because this is a simple soft reset shiny hunt, I also did various other method hunts as well. I was collecting my shiny Pokemon for the Pokemon Sleep video during this hunt, and did an impromptu hunt for a shiny Poltchageist as well. Weeks went by, and the Pokemon Sleep anniversary was nearing. Unfortunately, we didn't get the shiny Snorlax in time for the Pokemon Sleep video. Around that time, we had about 400 to 500 resets. Now, if you're an avid Gen 2 shiny hunter, you know the odds are 1 out of 8,192. So it didn't faze me that we didn't get the shiny Snorlax in time for the video for Pokemon Sleep. My luck in my crystal save has been insane. If you've been following my adventures, you know that my Celebi and Ho-Oh were both under odds. I'm telling you, like, super under odds. I felt as though this Snorlax hunt was going to be a long haul, and I thought my luck ran out for the under odds shinies in Generation 2. But did it? Time to hunt the Snorlax! What's the loadout you've been using, Spider? It sounds like a pretty good session, though. That's good for being a new player. I hope your the rest of your games are not as crazy, you know? I love this cover. It's so bad. Oh my god. Are you joking, chat? No! No way, chat. 790. Oh my god, chat. No. Well, we have our third video. 790. Oh my god. You guys were here for it, dude. Oh my god. Playing Hunt Showdown. Playing Hunt Showdown, chat, and we got our shiny Snorlax. Oh my freaking god, dude. What is this look? What is this look? Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay, hold on. You guys can go on about me a little bit. I got a shiny Snorlax.
Oh shit.
Dude, the video. Chat, oh my god, dude. What is my luck? That's under odds. That's the third Pokemon under odds, chat. Oh my god, dude. I know he's such a cute boy, right? Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Here, chat, here's the audio. Oh my god, chat. And again, this is real hardware, chat. This is real hardware. This is real. Like, there's no, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is not custom firmware or anything like that. This is legit. This is legit hardware, chat. Jesus Christ, dude. How? How? What is my luck? What is my luck, chat? Oh my god. Yeah, 790 resets. It's under odds once again. I know y'all might be skeptical about this shiny because, you know, it is the internet. However, this is a legit 3DS. The only mod is the capture card right here, the USB-C, see right there, that I can capture on my desktop. The original trainer in TID is the same as my Pidgey, Celebi, and Ho-Oh. And here's the starter as well. If you're still skeptical about this shiny, please let me know in the comment section below how else I can show you how legit this Snorlax is. I was playing on my main game I stream on Twitch called Hunt Showdown when we caught the Snorlax. Oh, we were loading into a match when I got him to shine. The big boy was added to our collection. Enjoying the shiny sprite, my curiosity piqued. What's the inspiration behind this Pokemon? At first I thought it was a tribute to Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro, released in 1988. My Neighbor Totoro is my favorite Hayao Miyazaki film. In fact, I still have the VHS version of the movie. As it turns out though, Snorlax is directly inspired by one of the Game Freak's devs, who still works there. That didn't stop me from asking my thumbnail artist to use the iconic scene from My Neighbor Totoro as the video's thumbnail. Look, I still can't believe my luck in Gen 2. I couldn't help but add some more color to this hunt and the inspiration for the video's thumbnail. Have you ever wanted a shiny Pokemon but they're shiny locked, preventing you from getting their shiny versions? In modern Pokemon games, you can find a lot of Pokemon that are shiny locked. Box legendaries, for example. From Sword and Shield onwards, we've had box legendaries locked behind limited shiny distributions with no other way to obtain their shiny versions in the base games. What about non-legendaries? Recently, it's been Miltank in Pokemon Go, restricted to mystery boxes. You had till July 3rd, 2024 to try and obtain them. Okay, well, you might be saying to yourselves right now, well, Yoshi, I don't care about the mobile game. What about the mainline games? Enter Gimmighoul. Introduced in the Generation 9 games Scarlet and Violet, it's Ghost-type Pokemon with two forms, Chess form and Roaming form. We'll be focusing on the Chess form Gimmighoul as this is the main focus of this video and it's usable in-game that way. Can you obtain them through the static encounters in Scarlet and Violet? The answer is no. Static encounters, that means walking up to a Pokemon and pressing A, are all shiny locked in these games. So this includes the chest form Gimmighouls you can find all over Paldea. At the time of this video's upload, the only way for you to obtain a shiny Gimmighoul is through the online Terra raid events. We've only had 2 opportunities to get these Pokemon shiny, from June 21st through July 2nd of 2023, and just recently, August 8th through the 22nd of 2024. Oh, did I mention it was full odds too? 1 out of 4,103.05 to be exact, with no way to influence the odds to be more favorable. And have you seen the shinies? You can easily miss this shiny Pokemon if you're not collecting every single one you encounter. This was giving me flashbacks to the Poltchageist shiny hunt I did not too long ago. Last year, when the raid first went live, I got lucky and caught a few Gimmighoul shinies from encountering them through the Terra Raid battle search. So I figure, why not try it again? Now we don't know if they'll ever make it possible to shiny hunt offline, as this first requires you to connect to the Pokemon servers to send you the raid data to populate in your Paldea. With the allure of a limited event shiny, full odds hunting, and the experiences I gained from last year's hunt, I booted up my Switch to begin this hunt. I also wanted to catch these little coin pinchers in different Pokeballs. If you're unaware, in these online raids, you have a 100% catch rate regardless of the Pokeball you choose. Who doesn't like a rare shiny Pokemon and a quirky little ball? Oh, and as per usual, we continue a dual hunt for a shiny Lugia on my virtual console of Pokemon Crystal. Spoiler alert, we didn't get a shiny Lugia through this. If you want to see the crazy luck on this exact virtual console save file, check out these videos here. Day 1 started on August 12, 2024. We connected online and ran headfirst into the hunts. With a lot of connectivity issues, false flags, and chucking many Pokeballs, we got our first Gimmighoul. Locking in at a low 12 raid encounters, we got the little dude in a luxury ball. Shout out to Orange. Day 2 was the next day. With more of the same quirks from yesterday happening, we ran into our second shiny after 10 encounters. We caught it in a beast ball. Well, adding on to that luck, randomly in chat, Avira was kind to gift us a shiny Gimmighoul raid that they had on their Switch. That was pretty neat, so after saying thanks, we threw a dream ball and continued on. Then things got interesting. When looking for raids, we ran into what looked like a familiar name, but when checking through the VOD, it was a variation of said name. Then it dawned on me, this person had multiple switches, raid crawling, and finding shiny Gimmighoul raid dens. I don't know how other shiny hunters feel about this player behavior. For starters, this is a public raid event. It's extremely low odds to encounter a similar name, and without recognizing the name, you wouldn't have think otherwise if this person was raid crawling. As far as I'm aware, their raid crawlers automate the hunt for the shiny, as it skips dates till it runs into the shiny and connects online for others to join. With the limited time and full odds to get this shiny, I can understand why someone would offer this as an opportunity for others to get something so rare. I mean, creators have done this already, and who doesn't like helping others? So after beating the Gimmighoul out of its lunch money, I chucked a Pokeball and called it a day. Moving forward in this challenge, if I see the same trainer name pop up, I will skip it and move on to the next one. You know, I feel like it's only fair since I ran into them twice. Plus, it gives my spot away to someone else who may not even have a shiny Gimmighoul yet. By the end of day 2, we had 3 Gimmighouls in a Beast Ball, Dream Ball, and Pokeball. Day 3 was upon us and we were going through the motions. We were already pushing close to 1k resets on Lugia, and I haven't seen a familiar name on these raids encountered thus far. Only after 22 encounters that we ran into another player's raid with the intentions of helping others. With the shiny Gimmighoul ready to be captured, I collected its rent in a love ball. It wasn't long until we ran into another player helping others, 4 encounters to be exact. I couldn't help but wonder if this is actually more prominent than I think it is. Are there lots of people helping and doing this? I just ran into 2 separate players with different raids, but with the same intentions. I honestly don't know what to think of it. I do a lot of Gen 3 RNG manipulation. There's tools that help you find your frame, but all of it is done within the cartridge. This goes the same way when trying to find a specific raid by using this automation tool to skip dates until you find the shiny. But if you know better or you know anything else, let me know in the comment section below. I captured this shiny Gimmighoul in a repeat ball, and I mean heck, look at the similarity between the repeat ball and Gimmighoul. It made sense to put this guy in this ball. We were nearing the last couple of days for the Gimmighoul event. While playing through a non-Pokemon game on stream, a friend of the channel messaged me informing me that they picked up on a shiny Gimmighoul raid and wanted to know if I wanted to join in. In the beginning of this challenge, I didn't know how hard it would be to hunt for this little guy, and asked if I wanted to join any of their raids if they got one. I couldn't say no at this point, as you might recall, I already said yes to another raid that was gifted to me. So while the Steam game was in maintenance, I pulled out my Switch and put my Skelly Dirge to work one last time to get my final shiny Gimmighoul in the sport ball. By the way, shout out to Zach, thanks for getting me that last Gimmighoul raid. Please check out their content if you have time. That was a lot to cover, so let's recap. 7 Gimmighouls caught, 2 from invites, 5 encountered through the Terra Raid Battle Search Network, all under odds, all caught in unique Pokeballs. At the time, I couldn't help but wonder what Gimmighoul reminded me of from my childhood. And sure enough, it hit me. Remember the Burger King Pokemon TCG gold-plated cards from 1999? A while back, while cleaning through my room, we dug up the old collectibles as well as a Pikachu silver coin. Kinda neat after all these years, these things survived and I'm able to take care of them and collect them again. Have you ever booted up a Pokemon game, started running around through the tall grass, then this happens? I have yet to give in this year, but I would love to like get some TCG from those vending machines, but goddamn, they're so Well, we got another shiny, chat, but it's not Target. As you're coming down from the excitement, you're quickly navigating the bag menus for the Pokeball section. Maybe you want to match the shiny with the ball design, or better yet, you stick with the classics and you throw this bad boy, the Luxury Ball. Making its debut in Generation 3, this ball actually has the same catch rate as a regular Pokeball. The only other feature is that it makes Pokemon caught in the ball more friendlier to you. If you're talking about games beyond Generation 3, getting the Luxury Ball is pretty easy and doesn't require a lot of effort. However, probably like me and are creating another save file in Pokemon Emerald or any other Gen 3 game in classic Pokemon fashion, obtaining anything scarce like a Luxury Ball in the mainline games are pretty quirky. You either have to load your Pokemon with Pokeblocks and win the Master Rank contest, or head over to the abandoned ship on Route 108, do a quirky puzzle, and you can get it there. Or if you want to be quirky, just, I don't know, get one IRL. With that primer out of the way, let me tell you the story of how we got a shiny Deoxys and one of these Luxury Balls. The story starts back in May of 2024. I was fundraising for Friends of Little Saigon to celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I wanted this fundraiser to be different from last year, so I decided to start my first ever attempt at a Nuzlocke in Pokemon Emerald, a shiny Nuzlocke. Now, this isn't the video for the recap of the Nuzlocke, so we're gonna skip ahead. That's gonna be a separate video. After the Nuzlocke, I kinda didn't know what to do. I mean, heck, prior to this, we played through a Japanese copy of Pokemon Emerald to RNG manip the legendaries, so it didn't make sense to catch them again. Then it dawned on me. I did a pretty fun shiny hunt for a shiny Mew on that Japanese cart. To give an idea of these distributions for rare Pokemon, let's use my explanation from the Mew video. And lastly, obtaining the old C map via distribution events in Pokemon Emerald. The old C map was distributed only to Japan and Taiwan in 2005's Pokemon Festa. You see, back in the Gen 3 heyday, there were these in-person events that you could go to and get specific Pokemon via distribution events. They were, however, time limited and varied depending on where you were located plus the regional game you had. Here are some examples. In North America, there was a Toys R Us distribution. Taiwan was able to obtain the Mew via PokePark. So yeah, these games at the time had limited time in-person events to get certain Pokemon. One being Deoxys via the Pokemon Rocks America event from 2005. How did we get it in the cartridge? The internet. Pokemon fans are hardcore. So hardcore that folks made it their mission to collect these old distribution events online and make it accessible via a tool called WC3. Okay, so we got the event on our PC, but how do we transfer the event onto the cartridge? Enter GB Operator. Now, people have opinions on it, and there are other alternatives to this tool, links again in the description, but basically you get one of these tools, rip your save from the cart and upload it to your PC, use WC3 on said save, activate the Aurora ticket, save the file, moved the save with the Deoxys event back into the cartridge. Side note, you will need the SS ticket that takes you between Lillicove, Slateport, and Battle Frontier. This is given to you by Norman, your dad, after you beat the Elite Four, aka the post game. Alright, hopefully by now you've fulfilled all the necessary flags like I did. After doing that quirky little puzzle, you can save here at the triangle and begin soft resetting. Or you can do the fun thing and shiny RNG manip Deoxys, since this counts as a static encounter. So I've kind of covered how RNG manipulation generally works in the Generation 3 games, but for the sake of the time and length of the video, I'm not going to cover it in here. If you want to break down on RNG manipulation, please watch Blissey or Hefe's videos on the topic. They both can explain it better than me. All of the resources can be found in the video description below. While you're down there, if you can like, comment, and subscribe to the video, it really helps with the algorithm. I appreciate y'all making it this far into it. So I originally caught Deoxys in a Master Ball in my original encounter, but because we are goobers and have backed up saves, we have a save file ready to shiny hunt and capture Deoxys in a Luxury Ball. I originally started this hunt back in June. It wasn't the RNG manips that was hard, rather it was catching Deoxys in a Luxury Ball that was the hardest. Remember when I said the Luxury Ball is similar to the Pokeball? That goes for the catch rates as well. A full health Deoxys at level 30 with no status effect will have a 0.416% chance to be caught in a Luxury Ball. Thanks to the resources on Dragonfly Cave, there's a calculator that breaks it down. So to get the best odds as possible, we'd want a Deoxys to be in the red and have a status condition, increasing your odds to 1.598%, which means you have at least a 50% chance of catching it within 44 balls, and at least 95% chance of catching it within 186 balls. Yeah, kind of insane odds. On top of that, if you were like me and you're catching Pokemon in Generation 3 with a Breloom, you're kind of throwing. Let me explain. You see, Breloom has this quirky ability called Effect Spore. When a Pokemon makes contact with Breloom, it has a 10% chance of being paralyzed, poisoned, or put asleep. When doing this hunt back in June, Deoxys was using physical moves often and died by the poison. So at 60 Luxury Ball attempts, I took a break from the hunt. 3 months later, in September of 2024, I came back to the hunt. I didn't have any real strategy when attempting this again. I was just hoping to use Breloom to false swipe and spore it to sleep and swap out another Pokemon to tank while I throw Luxury Balls. The RNG manipulation didn't take too long to find our target shiny Deoxys. Breloom was cooking and then this happened. So it doesn't? So Harvest is not in Gen 3? Hope you're doing well, Medler. Long time no see, dude. 75. At least Deoxys is asleep, so that's good. Don't worry, chat. We have 99 Luxury Balls, chat. So, if anything, he'll die first. Oh, yo! Yo! Oh my god! Dude! Yo! 21 plus 60. Okay, 81. 81 encounters. Okay. So it's 81. Still, that's good though. That's still good. Now you might be asking yourself, like, oh, is this a legit shiny Yoshi? Like, oh, it could be fake. It could be fake. You know, maybe you have you have hardware, you know, whatever. Okay. So let me show you why this is real. A serious Deoxys, level 30, and this is its spread, right? Chat. So, again, serious nature. Serious nature right here, right? And we got serious right here. And then look at the spread. HP 77, 71. Sorry, 77 for HP. Attack 71, defense 67, special attack 68, special defense 60, and speed is 121. We got this Space Goober super early in the stream, so I decided to spend the rest of it transferring it up from Pokemon Emerald to Generation 9. And lo behold, here's the Goober in Pokemon Scarlet. Same stats, by the way. You know, it's kind of funny too, in Generation 9, Deoxys' pose is coincidentally similar to my thumbnail, where it's just literally T-posing. Shiny Pokemon, a staple from the Pokemon franchise that goes all the way back to Generation 2. They come in various colors, some slightly different from their normal counterparts, many with better color designs in their shiny form. There's plenty of shiny hunters out there, myself included, who love to hunt these goobers. My favorite kind of shinies are pink ones, so why not dedicate a whole video shiny hunting the pink goobers? It all started last year. I was completing a playthrough of Pokemon Crystal Virtual Console on my 3DS. It's been almost 20 years since I played the Gen 2 games on my Game Boy Color, so it was a nice experience to play through the game again. Now, another reason why I wanted to play through this game was to get one of the rarest shiny Pokemon, Celebi, which we did get back in February 7th of 2024. If you want to see the original video on the shiny hunt, check it out here. So after getting the shiny pink onion, a thought came to mind. What is also synonymous with pink? Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you've been following the channel, you know about my mom's diagnosis. Safe to say, after her most recent mammogram over the summer, she's been breast cancer free once again, which means in 2024, we are celebrating 21 years of my mom being breast cancer free. If you're new here and you want to learn more about my mom's story, please watch this video that actually kicked off my channel. Since 2021, I've been a partner and fundraised with National Breast Cancer Foundation. Fun fact, my mom chose this organization to support since she attributes her survivorship with early stage detection of her breast cancer. NBCF focuses on advocating for early detection of breast cancer. Every October, I celebrate my mom's survivorship while also bringing awareness to breast cancer. This year, I wanted to do something different and catch shiny pink Pokemon during my fundraiser for NBCF, which is still ongoing. We're fundraising till the end of October. If you want to support, check out the links below. This year, we have some really cool Pokemon merch giveaways. Two of them are Peking style Pokemon stickers of Rayquaza and Celebi. Notice something cool about this Celebi? It's holographic, which is the first time I've had this sort of reward. Again, the links to learn more about the fundraiser and NBCF are below. Alright, now for the hunt. The games we'll be hunting the pink baddies are Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Emerald. Rayquaza being introduced in Generation 9 as a fire starter is a pink baddie that comes to mind. There are no thoughts up there, so that should be an easy target. After days of Masuda methoding, we got the Gator Boy. Speaking of starters, Mudkip's shiny is pretty iconic and bright pink. If you got the DLC for Scarlet and Violet and progressed it, you can eventually shiny hunt starters across the terrarium in the Indigo Disc DLC. However, this is a Gen 3 Pokemon we're talking about, and as a Gen 3 enjoyer, we're going back to Hoenn. I wanted this shiny cot to be special, so I made a new save file and named the trainer NBCF, shorthand for National Breast Cancer Foundation. Using RNG manipulation, got 2 pink babies added to our collection, and you know the drill, FA and Blissy's guides will be in the description. Of course, while doing these hunts, we talked about NBCF and how breast cancer has affected chat or my family's life. To the people who shared their own personal stories with a family member, or their own experiences, or celebrations of life in my chat, I want to say thank you for trusting me and my community with your stories. It means a lot that you feel like my place is a safe space to share a personal experience like that. If you or a loved one is currently navigating their breast cancer journeys and needs support, please check out NBCF. Another focus they have is providing support services to people who are navigating their diagnosis to ensure no one goes through this alone. If you grew up on the Pokemon anime like I did, you know those first couple of seasons were iconic. Renting the Pokemon movies, VHS tapes from Blockbuster, or waking up early on Saturday to watch the reruns. It's so crazy to think a lot of the original voice actors are retiring after a storied career around Pokemon, though some of their stories are cut short. Rachel Lillis, the voice actor for Jessie, Misty, and various Pokemon throughout the franchise, passed away in August from breast cancer. Her voice acting spanned 423 episodes from 1997 to 2015. I figure we should also shiny hunt her Pokemon. It just seems right to try and honor her legacy in such a small way. The list includes Vulpix, Venonat, Jigglypuff, Torchic, and Goldeen. With the new challenge mapped up, it was time for the new hunt. Back into Scarlet, we ventured back into Kitakami. For shiny Venonat, we ran into one a couple months ago. I had a cold sweat though, because in typical Scarlet and Violet fashion, the game froze. Thankfully, we got the little dude in a luxury ball. Next on the list, Vulpix. You can find them in the Timeless Woods. So after popping a sandwich and picnic resetting, we found her Vulpix, captured in a heal ball. Speaking of heal balls, at the time of this video's recording, we hit my $600 incentive for National Breast Cancer Foundation. I'm giving away a scaled version of the heal ball as a thank you for that $600 incentive hit. Details for the giveaway is in the link below. And then sorry for the folks who are watching this in the future and the giveaway is already over. We actually do a lot of charity fundraising here throughout the year. So hit the subscribe button, follow me on Twitch and my other socials to keep track of our charity activities and giveaways in the future. Moving on, Jigglypuff. In the base game, South Province Area 2 is the place to be. This hunt was a little quirky. If you don't know, when there's a storm weather effect, certain Pokemon, well, they will be swept away, including Igglybuff and Jigglypuff. Thankfully, shinies don't fly away. So creating sandwiches and picnics with that knowledge and being in the middle of a storm, we found a shiny Igglybuff. After leveling up the friendship, we finally had our Jigglypuff. With half of Rachel's Pokemon acquired, we're switching gears to Pokemon Emerald. Did you know what determines Wurmple's evolution is randomly generated from its PID? This will determine whether or not it's a Beautifly or Dustox. Thankfully, the Wurmple from my Emerald Shiny Nuzlocke I did back in May turned out to be a Beautifly, so that one's knocked off. Alright, nearing the end. Staying on Pokemon Emerald, we're gonna hunt for Goldeen. There are a few places where you can go fishing for Goldeen in Emerald. Heading to Route 114, it was time to crank out an RNG manipulation. This was actually my first time trying this RNG with the fishing rod. So while simple, I did somehow struggle with it, trying to hunt this specific way. So as a backup, I tried for a Masuda method as well. I had to move a few spots, switch rods, and finally, Goldeen came home after 620 attempts. Of course, I'm counting the RNG manips and Masuda methods combined. Lastly, Torchic. Remembering that I had the save file with NBCF trainer name, I booted up that save file to get Rachel's last voice-acted Pokemon under 20 RNG manipulation attempts. Lo and behold, the gang is all here. While making this video, I felt like I couldn't leave out Rachel, so I hope that the inclusion of her Pokemon is a good way to kind of tie off this video about pink Pokemon and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, supporting National Breast Cancer Foundation. She has a GoFundMe page that her family set up. I was happy to add a donation to her memorial. If you want to see her memorial service, I encourage you to check out the GoFundMe page. The link is in the description below. I know the topic of breast cancer is heavy for some folks, myself included. I mean, I was only 7 or 8 years old, and at that age, there wasn't really anything you could do. Not only does the breast cancer diagnosis affect the individual who it was detected in, it also affects the family. 21 years later, and I'm still working through that impact that it had on me. I do remember spending a lot of time on my Game Boy Advance SP playing Pokemon Sapphire to cope with my mom's treatment. Pokemon was my escape. I can't help but to tie it back all these years later. Reading through Rachel's GoFundMe page, there was many folks with stories about Rachel's impact and her legacy as a voice actor for Pokemon. It felt nice to see how others remember someone who was a part of their childhood. And well, with all the pink shinies and Rachel's voice acted shiny Pokemon collected, this hunt comes to a close. Pokemon Crystal, released in 2001 for the Game Boy Color and re-released on the Nintendo 3DS in 2018, it is the enhanced versions of Pokemon Gold and Silver. Growing up, I played Pokemon Gold, and I still have my childhood copy here and my Game Boy Color. Replaying through it after 2 decades, there's something about the sprites, map design, and music that really sets the vibes. It was early Pokemon. While I am a Gen 3 enjoyer, Gen 2 does have a special place in my heart. It was a simpler time, where you let your imagination run wild. I remember bringing my Game Boy Color everywhere with me. Fun fact, this is the generation that first introduced shinies to the franchise. The odds? 1 out of 8,192. I do a lot of method hunts on this channel, so raw dogging some full odds shiny hunts? Easy peasy. It's no surprise why I've made a lot of videos shiny hunting in the virtual console version of this generation. Why is it relevant? It's important to note that the Pokemon Company at some future date will announce the end of Pokemon Transport and Pokemon Bank. You need those services to transfer Pokemon from Generation 3 to 7 into the modern titles and Pokemon Home. I've been hunting these rare, older shinies for most of 2024. I don't want to feel left out on getting these older shinies in the Virtual Console version prior to the end of support for Transporter and Pokemon Bank. It's one thing to get a Gen 2 shiny from any game, but for me personally, I want to hunt these baddies in the original game that they were in, transfer them up from Pokemon Home, and get that really cool Game Boy Color Virtual Console mark to remind you of the novel way you originally caught this Pokemon. If you've been following the channel, you know how crazy my luck has been in Generation 2. From Celebi all the way to Snorlax, we've been under odds. If you want to see the other videos, here's a playlist of all my Pokemon Crystal hunts. I know, it's unreal. I don't know how else to prove to you that I'm not cheating, but it's on real hardware, and it's a real purchase. We of course got Ho-Ho months ago, but I know deep down I had to also get Lugia. Ho-Ho is iconic, but Lugia has its own movie, so you know I had to catch him. This is the story of how we got a shiny Lugia in Pokemon Crystal. First off, how do we shiny hunt Lugia in Pokemon Crystal? Have to beat the post game, which means you'd have to have collected all the gym badges, beaten the Elite Four, and explored a bit of Kanto, captured the 3 legendary beasts. Once you do that, you have to fly over to Pewter City, talk to this old man here, and he will give you the Silver Wing. Make sure you have a Pokemon with Whirlpool, Surf, Waterfall, and Flash. Fly over to Cyanwood City, surf in Route 41, follow the ocean till you navigate to the Whirl Islands area. Once you get to this cave here, navigate through the caves until you get to the area with Lugia. Make sure you save. Now because this hunt's pretty straightforward, I like to do other hunts and play other games while I soft reset. We do these hunts live on Twitch, and yes, we do a lot more here besides Pokemon. If you want to catch my live streams, check the description below. And while you're there, please like and comment on the video. I do appreciate y'all making it this far into the video. So what do you think? Was it under odds, over odds, at odds? I gotta lock in on these guys. They're so easy to do. Wait, I keep going like keep going east for whatever reason. I need to be going north for where all the Jigglypuffs are actively throwing, as per usual. Oh, not a shiny. Okay, there we go, chat. We're getting into some familiar territory now. Chat. Oh my god, we got the shiny Lugia, dude. 2,278 chat for the Lugia. Holy. Oh my god. Dude, our under odds luck chat. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh my god, chat. Holy shit. And of course, we gotta flex our shiny Celebi. No way, chat. Oh my god, we are scheming, chat. Holy Lugia came home under odds. Wow. 2,278 encounters, chat. We get a shiny Lugia. Holy moly. It has incredible ability to calm raging storms. It is said that Lugia appears when the storm starts. The calm before the storm, chat. The calm before the storm. Oh my god, chat. Yeah. I can't believe my luck. I'm not taking it for granted, but I do love how we got here. Whenever I hunt, I like to reflect on what's happening outside of the game. Lugia's shiny is pink, and we caught them in October of 2024. What's also synonymous with October and pink? Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Like I mentioned in my previous video, a tribute to Rachel Lillis, I'm a big advocate for breast cancer screening, and we do a lot of fundraising for National Breast Cancer Foundation to honor my mom. If you've been following the channel, you know about my mom's diagnosis. Safe to say, after her most recent mammogram over the summer, she's been breast cancer free once again, which means in 2024, we are celebrating 21 years of my mom being breast cancer free. If you're new here and you want to learn more about my mom's story, please watch this video that actually kicked off my channel. Since 2021, I've been a partner and fundraised with National Breast Cancer Foundation. Fun fact, my mom chose this organization to support since she attributes her survivorship with early stage detection of her breast cancer. NBCF focuses on advocating for early detection of breast cancer. Every October, I celebrate my mom's survivorship while also bringing awareness to breast cancer. This year, I wanted to do something different and catch shiny pink Pokemon during my fundraiser for NBCF, which is still ongoing. We're fundraising till the end of October. If you want to support, check out the links below. This year, we have some really cool Pokemon merch giveaways. Two of them are peaking style Pokemon stickers of Fuecoco and Celebi. Notice something cool about this Celebi? It's holographic, which is the first time I've had this sort of reward. Again, the links to learn more about the fundraiser and NBCF are below. A quick update. At the time of this video's recording, we are at $2,212.50. We are on our way to hitting our last fundraising goal. It's an insane amount to hit with still plenty of time left in October to fundraise. So I'm very thankful for everyone who's been in the streams, donated to my Tiltify campaign, and for everyone who's been sharing and talking about the fundraiser. To make up for that, I have plenty of giveaways that we've unlocked through the fundraiser. Here's the most recent one, and if you're watching the video after the fact, don't worry, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. We do plenty of fundraisers throughout the year, and there's plenty of giveaways too, so stay tuned. I did something quirky for the thumbnail of this video. I had two variations. Let me know in the comment section below which one you got. I had to make a big Lugia to complement the Ho-Ho thumbnail, but I also wanted to see how well the video performed with the normal Lugia. We're nearing the end of the target hunts in Pokemon Crystal. After catching Lugia, it's really just Eevee and the starters. Pokemon Emerald, Generation 3's enhanced versions of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Also, my favorite generation of Pokemon games. Fun fact, the location of the Generation 3 games, Hoenn, is actually based off of a real island in Japan, the southern island, Kyushu. That's also where my dad's side of the family is from. Guess it was fated for me to enjoy this generation. Growing up with the Pokemon games all my life, it was actually Pokemon Sapphire that I've put the most hours in prior to the modern Pokemon games. I played it on my Game Boy Advance SP going to school, during recess, waiting to get picked up after school, the long road trips in the back of the car, throughout my mom's breast cancer treatment, and the years after when she beat her breast cancer diagnosis. It's gotten me through the quiet times in between to one of the most scariest times in my childhood. If you want to hear more about the story about my Pokemon journey and my mom's breast cancer diagnosis, check out this playlist here. Pokemon Sapphire's mascot is Kyogre. However, there was something inexplicably cool about Rayquaza. When I was younger, you would be told by the older kids that there was some legendary available to capture that wasn't the mascot of your Pokemon cartridge. It was located in Sky Pillar via Sotopolis City, and getting frustrated at the puzzle section in typical Pokemon fashion, you knew as a kid there was something worth it at the end. Lo and behold, there he is, a green dragon snake thing. It would be 20 years later, in March of 2023, where my paths with Rayquaza crossed once again. I was getting back into Pokemon, and in between the queues of a game I was playing, I would do Dynamax Adventures and Pokemon Shield's DLC. In Dynamax Adventures, you play through these procedurally generated taverns of various Pokemons until you reach your target legendary Pokemon. At the time of its release, that was the only way to catch those legendaries in their shiny forms. After 33 attempts, I caught a shiny Rayquaza in a Beast Ball. Fun fact about those Dynamax adventures, any Pokemon caught there is 100% catch rate, so try and catch a Pokemon in a cool Pokeball if you can. At this point, you might be asking yourself, well, Yoshi, you caught the shiny Rayquaza already, but when I checked the video's description, there's a lot more chapters in it. What else is there to the video? First off, while y'all are down there in the description, please like and subscribe to my channel. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be really awesome if we can hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of November. Who knows, maybe we'll hold a giveaway when we reach 1,000 subscribers. Secondly, have we caught the shiny Rayquaza in the original game yet? Well, yes, we did a couple of times actually. But what about in a luxury ball? Look at shiny Rayquaza. It matches the ball so well, so we have to catch it in a luxury ball. This is the story of how we got a shiny Rayquaza in a luxury ball in Pokemon Emerald. We're going to be treading some familiar waters here, so I'll be taking some explanations from my previous video catching shiny Deoxys in a luxury ball. And yes, I've captured a Deoxys in a luxury ball as well. Check it out here if you want to see that hunt. Okay, more on the luxury ball and how to attain it. Making its debut in Generation 3, this ball actually has the same catch rate as a regular Pokeball. The only other feature is that it makes Pokemon caught in the ball more friendlier to you. If you're talking about games beyond Generation 3, getting the luxury ball is pretty easy and doesn't require a lot of effort. However, probably like me and are creating another save file in Pokemon Emerald or any other Gen 3 game in classic Pokemon fashion, obtaining anything scarce like a luxury ball in the mainline games are pretty quirky. You either have to load your Pokemon with Pokeblocks and win the Master Rank contest, or head over to the abandoned ship on Route 108, do a quirky puzzle, and you can get it there. Great, now to get more than one luxury ball. Because we are in Pokemon Emerald version of the game, there is a cloning glitch that is accessible in the post-game, the Battle Tower Pokemon cloning glitch. There are plenty of guides on YouTube, so check them out. Next, how do we get to the point in the game where we can hunt a Rayquaza? He's available to capture right after you finish the Sotopolis event, in which you stop the fight between Kyogre and Groudon. You don't even need to beat the Elite Four for this legendary. You would also need the match bike as well. Once you've fallen through enough craters and beat the puzzle, you'll finally reach Rayquaza at the top. Make sure you save before the encounter. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, Yoshi, I've seen you actually capture those shiny Rayquazas in the past. How are you able to encounter it once again? Enter GB Operator. As a Gen 3 and old Pokemon game enjoyer, there are plenty of ways to back up and preserve your save files. If you're serious about shiny hunting in the old games like I am, this is pretty much a standard. In my shiny Nuzlocke playthrough, I backed up my saves at various legendary Pokemon encounter locations because I knew deep down I wanted to revisit those Pokemon and catch their shinies in quirky ways. Well, with all the necessary prerequisites checked off, let's do some math on the odds catching with the luxury ball. Remember when I said the luxury ball is similar to the Pokeball? That goes for the catch rates as well. A full health Rayquaza at level 70 with no status effect will have a 0.416% chance to be caught in a luxury ball. Thanks to the resources on Dragonfly Cave, there's a calculator that breaks it down. So to get the best odds as possible, we'd want a Deoxys to be in the red and have a status condition, increasing your odds to 1.598%, which means you have at least a 50% chance of catching it within 44 balls, and at least 95% chance of catching it within 186 balls. Yeah, kind of insane odds. Okay, now we're ready for the hunt. To expedite this process, we're bringing back RNG manipulation. If you want to break down on RNG manipulation, please watch Blissey or Hefe's videos on the topic. They both can explain it better than me. All of the resources can be found in the video description below. After 11 attempts, my Rayquaza shined. Okay, now we gotta set up... Okay, so I totally forgot about the matching. That's a-okay. I also duplicated a lot of items besides luxury balls, so we came prepared for this fight. So I'll heal up my... Oh, okay, well, we forgot about confusion. Okay, that's not good. At this moment, I was kind of freaking out. Now we're in a situation where not only do we need to prevent him from KOing himself, but the confusion can harm him. So we'll try to put him to sleep as fast as possible. Good lord. Okay, so now it was a fight between preventing Rayquaza confusing itself. We want to put it to sleep and try to get as much luxury balls in as possible. Thankfully, Rayquaza decided to fly up, so that would give us an opportunity to swap over to our Gardevoir with Hypnosis. After one miss, we were able to put Rayquaza back to sleep. So now we're back in position to try and catch Rayquaza. Yeah, and this entire time, I was very nervous. I didn't want Rayquaza to end itself. I was Hail Marying luxury balls towards Rayquaza until... hot damn, only 9 luxury balls. For reference, it took us 81 luxury ball attempts for our Deoxys. I'm going to keep this Rayquaza in Gen 3 for now. I'm planning on doing some ribbon challenges on these Gen 3 goobers, so I'm adding this guy to the list. Recently, I've been getting into Pokemon TCG. Besides getting addicted to the TCG pocket, I'm buying other people's collections and getting a lot of used cards on the cheap. One of the auctions I won recently had the Jumbo Shiny Rayquaza card on there, so it's no surprise that this was totally an influence on this video and catching a shiny Rayquaza in a luxury ball. It was also inspiration to the alternative thumbnail for today's video. Let me know which thumbnail you got served in the comment section below. Entertain me this question. Do you count or time your shiny hunts? How long did it take? Was it 1 hour, 100 hours, 100 days? For those of you who don't count the encounters or measure the time it takes for your shiny hunt, how do you measure the passage of time till you hit your target shiny Pokemon? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm very curious to everyone's answers. This question sparked an idea. The idea turned into a fun challenge. How fast can I catch a shiny Pokemon on a fresh new save file in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu? Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is considered by most one of the easiest ways to hunt for a shiny Pokemon. Why? All you have to do is encounter the Pokemon you want, catch the Pokemon, and capture each and every one of the same species till you find a shiny. Here's how it works. Catch 31 plus of the same type Pokemon and your rolls for a shiny increases. And voila, this chain will increase your chances at a shiny. The catch combo bonuses only apply once to every next spawn of the same species. The information can be found in the description below. Also, make sure you avoid other Pokemon, otherwise you break your chain. This also includes gendered species Pokemon. I actually ran into this same scenario in a previous video, shiny hunting bunny Pokemon. You can check it out in the video card right here. Speaking of my videos, if you've been following along on my channel, you know my luck has been insane. Whether it be under odds shiny hunts for the legendaries and mythicals in Pokemon Crystal, to catching a shiny Rayquaza in a luxury ball within 9 attempts. It's been a ride shiny hunting Pokemon in 2024. So why not push the luck even further? This is the story of the world's first fastest shiny hunt in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. The rules for this challenge. Number 1, play on a fresh save file. I bought a used copy of Let's Go Pikachu and we're playing on this version because I already have save progress on Let's Go Eevee. We're also playing on the 1.0 version of this game. Number 2, as soon as you're free to roam and catch, start the hunt. After getting your starter Pikachu and talking to Professor Oak, you're free to start your adventure and shiny hunt. You also get 50 Pokeballs. If I run out of Pokeballs, the plan is to sell the EXP candies and the species candies for more Pokeballs. If we somehow run out of resources to buy Pokeballs, well, we will reset to an earlier save. Yeah, well, that's the rules. I just chose an Oddish because I figure it's worth trying to shiny hunt Pokemon I normally don't get. For some context, we're also doing a shiny hunt for Eevee in Pokemon Crystal, so if you see the screen below, that is why it's there. Okay, looks like we're all set for the hunt, but before we get into the run, I just want to say thank you for getting my channel to 1,000 subscribers. As promised, the giveaway for a Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch OLED is now live. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is subscribe to my channel, like and comment on this or the Rayquaza video here, and well, you're entered the giveaway. Deadline for the giveaway is December 12th, 2024. North America only. I'm sorry, but international shipping is a pain. 15th is the last day of the shipping option, at least for the US, and I want to give time for the winners to respond. I will also select 2 additional follow-up winners for a custom display art of Rachel Lillis' contribution to Pokemon. If you're watching this in the future, I'm sorry, but the giveaway deadline is December 12th, 2024. Don't worry though, hit subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. We do a lot of giveaways when we do our charity fundraisers in May and October. And if we hit milestones on our YouTube channel, then we'll do giveaways for you all. I like you all having nice things. Okay, with the giveaway rules and information out of the way, here's the run. If you just want to see the run entirely by itself, you can check out the description or the pinned comment for a Twitch highlight of the run. Enjoy the rest of the video. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Alright, chat. This begins our speedrunning era, chat. Oh, I'm already throwing? God damn. There you go. Give out for next year's pink incentive? Yeah. I mean, if you donate like more than $5 in May, Bill, I can give you a shiny. It's okay. Oh my god, dude, this intro. English in game. Do we need music on this, chat? Should we listen to the music? Also, it's cute. Our Pikachu's female, I guess, right? Yeah, maybe we'll listen to the audio. Holy shit, it's so loud. Oh my god, I didn't think it'd be that loud. Holy shit, it's loud. Why is it? Oh my god. It's like... Okay, there we go. Well, this is not helping the speed run. With a 17 chaining BDSP. Yeah, Meddler. That's fine, you know, we're not really serious about how fast anyways. I want to get my character name on here, so. Oops. Truly going fast, chat. We'll name him whatever, I don't really care. I have to name him? I don't know. We'll just name him Tyler because of time. Wait. What if I name him after the guy in our last match? Whatever, it's fine. We'll just name him Tyler. Is the audio okay? Can you guys let me know if the audio is okay or not? It's kind of fucking loud. I think it's pretty okay on your end, but I don't know. The time gatekeeping. Yeah, and who knows, Bill? Maybe we'll get more shinies, too, that are interesting and worthwhile. Yeah, is it still crackling? That's just my capture card. God, It's crazy to think this game was like a launch or one of the. No, this game came in 2019. Yeah, this game came out in 2019. Chat. Big day before we do. Read the email I sent you yesterday. Okay, hold on. We have to make the chat fast too, I think. Oh yeah, right. Options. Okay, let's see. Fast battle effects off and here. Yeah, mommy. So here's what you need to know as a trainer. Press A. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this while also swapping out our VHS tape. Chat. Hi, mom. Tyler asked Professor to give you two the Pokemon of your own, didn't he? Wasting my time. Hello. I'm raising Pokemon too. Yep. Okay, where's the... This guy always talks about technology, I think, right? Technology is incredible. Now you can connect your smartphone to your game console and send data between them. Yep. Okay. Is this the professor's house? I think this is the professor's house. Yeah. Oh, he's not here? Oh, do we meet him in the tall grass, right? There's our partner Pokemon chat. Oh, it is a female. Okay. Or maybe is it always female? I don't know. You know, I haven't even finished the Pokemon Eevee chat. That's something we have to do at some point too. That was pretty fine performance for a first time with my girl. Why don't you pick up the Pokeball and give you a Pikachu a name? I don't think we're gonna give him a name. I hope in the new generation they make a Let's Go Johto or something, you know? Because honestly, a lot of people give this game shit, but honestly, it's kind of pretty easy to shiny hunt in this generation, chat. Because all you have to do is just keep throwing the Pokeball, you know, chain and everything. And like the graphics, chat, and the music, and the gameplay, it's so good. I think a lot of people take it for granted, if I'm being honest. Why is this not playing? Oh, it's so cute. No name. Easy. Oh, I should probably skip names too, right? Ironically, a Johto game with the current gen mechanics is my most wanted Pokemon game. Dude, they could easily do it though. Oh, you can't skip nicknames. Damn. Okay. Okay, do I save? Just one more thing. You two sitting out as trainers. Something with the journey. Pokédex stuff. Hello, Marissa. Welcome in. Howdy, howdy. Thank you for stopping by the live stream and liking the live stream. How are you? Well, you can get a very detailed data on the Pokemon just by seeing them. You must catch a Pokemon to gather the most complete data. To make a complete guide to all the Pokemon in the world. That was my dream, but I'm an old man now. Okay, hear me out though. What if we get a game where we're like young Oak, right? And he doesn't finish the Pokédex, right? But like, what's the story behind it? And it's like a Let's Go Legends game. Or just like, what if it's Pokemon Legends Oak or something, you know? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool to play as a young Oak. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe you're Oak's childhood friend, right? I don't know. Hear me out. I think that'd be a cool idea. Oh, wait. What was I supposed to be doing? Do I just go out here now? Do we have Pokeballs, chat? Do we start hunting now? I have 50? Oh my god, easy. So what, the catch combo is 30, right? 31 plus? So we could just keep resetting until we find a shiny, right? You think that's the best play, chat? Honestly, let's just go for an Oddish. Why not? Because then by then we can get into the new town and then sell Pokemon or sell the Oddish, get stuff, chat, or I mean release it to Oak. Hey, come on, where's the Oddish, chat? Also, wait, why can't Pikachu be on my head? Does anyone know how we can get him on his head? Oh yeah, we're supposed to be soft resetting for EV2. I keep forgetting. God damn it. I don't know if this is the place I want to be, though. Because, again, we have the grass behind us. Too. Because you could spawn down here. Another Oddish! Easy, chat. Oh! I'm throwing. Bruh. Also, let me know if like the music's like, or the audio and everything is like so dry. We can always swap to other music too as well. Just let me know, chat. I think we have to be up here, honestly. Let's eradicate. There's another Oddish, chat. Dude, what's going on? I think it's because my Switch is like facing this direction, chat, and then my hand like right here. Maybe that's why it keeps getting thrown off, so. Okay, there we go. Or it's probably my it's like my 3DS is blocking it, chat. Maybe that's what it is. Dude, these Odysseys are just coming at us, chat. I love it. We're at... Oh my god. What the heck? So the idea, chat, is to use the catch combo and see how fast we can catch a shiny. Oh, I should probably get these guys out of our party. No, they're gonna keep forming in our party. Okay, caught 5 so far, chat. This is good. Oh, another Oddish. What? No, oh my god, we're throwing. There we go. Hella throw in chat. Yes, yes. God, dude, I keep pressing B on getting the EV, chat, and Crystal throwing. Bro, these Odysseys, man. One of these days is gonna be shiny, chat. Oof, I just hit my switch. Chat, you think we're gonna get a shiny Eevee on funny number 420? Okay, we definitely need to get these guys out of our party or something, man, because that is wasting a lot of time. But the problem is, though, if we capture a Pokemon, they're gonna go straight to our party. There has to be like a way for us to like... There isn't. Oh man, like is the meta then just to like keep these guys in our party? I think we're gonna have to just keep them in our party, chat. I can't think of anything else right now. Oh no, the EVs or the Odysseys are all gone. Is there any Odysseys down here? Another Oddish? Nice, Bill. Yeah, see, that's the idea behind this, is to see how fast we can catch a shiny, you know, on a fresh save and everything. Yeah, I'm hopeful. The problem is I'm worried about all these like leveling up things. They're wasting so much time. Dude, these Oddish just keep coming out of nowhere, man. Wait! Oh, It had the blue and the sparkles, chat. I thought it was a shiny for a second. Bro, I'm not even pointing there. We're wasting so much balls because of that. God, they gave you so much balls though at the start. Oh, look, we just ran into another one. Look at that. Female Eevee. Oh. So tomorrow we'll have off, but I think Saturday we'll either continue this challenge video or just go back to resuming the Zygarde raids. But I want this to be next week's video, so we'll try this, chat, because then we could start hunting for Jirachi. But I don't know, maybe we'll do the Jirachi video next. God damn it. Yes, Bill, check it out, man. Oh, dude, why is it... What's up with the giant? We're wasting so much balls doing that. I don't get it. I don't get it. We're getting bullied. Also, chat, on Twitch, I have a new point redemption if you guys want to take a look at it. Since we're getting into TCG, I have a one about, like, if you redeem 10,000 points, you can watch me pull a pack, rip a pack open, and see what we get. So I got this mini tin right here, chat, or this just regular tin of Paldean Fates, and then I have some other Elite Trainer boxes coming in the mail too. So we are unfortunately getting into the TCG hobby, man. I can't believe I got myself in there. Oh. Okay, so when this happens, chat, all we have to do is, like, just head out. And that doesn't hurt us. This is why I like to get out of the grass. I think that's 420, chat. Yeah, pretty sure we're on 420. Chat, can we get a shiny Eevee at 420? I don't think so. See, though. Create a small deck of dupes and do a giveaway. You can buy more. See, that's the thing, though. I don't think people would want that. You know, like, who would want, like, dupes, right? I don't know. Well, see, this is what the thing is, Bill, though. I don't think you were here last year, but when we do our holiday cards, Bill, when we do our holiday cards, that's when I send out a holiday card, and then you guys will also get some TCG cards. So I will give that to you through there. I just gotta get envelopes that are security lined. But yeah, that's the plan though. Every year when we do holiday cards, I will send out TCG cards. But yeah, they're made 24 minutes! 24 minutes! No way! Oh my god! Oh no! Shit! Shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! 15 and we get a shiny chat. Dude, oh my god. Well, that's a video, chat. That's literally the video. What the fuck? Dude, what the freak, chat? Oh my god. What is my luck, chat? What is my luck? Dude! Med on level 3 likes to thrash about. He's docile. It wasn't even the catch combo too. I don't even know what to do now, chat. Last few days, I've been looking all over YouTube to see if anyone else recorded a fast shiny hunt in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee or Pikachu. And well, it looks like I'm the only one at the moment at the time of this video's recording. If you or you know someone who has a faster time, let me know in the comment section below or tag me in the video. I want to let you know that our holiday cards form should be live. Check it out in the description below. I'll include a thank you letter written on a postcard and Pokemon cards. This is my 5th year doing a holiday card and the 2nd time I've shared it with the YouTube community. Well, that's all she wrote for the video. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment to enter the giveaway. Be good to yourselves, and I will see you all when I see you.